You have 68 wins. You cannot 69 Mina.
Hey everyone, it is the center of attention, Brittany Brooks, and you are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Come on over, Sam. I'm being. See, earlier I said something stupid to him, and now this is my receipt. Okay.
Sabu's just sabotaging you.
Yeah. He sure did. Yeah, he's taking over.
Hijacking is a better word. You're right.
Good luck.
Shout out to Simply Reliable Studios making their Symphony debut, sponsoring this match and the entire Dragon Kai demonstration.
Heyo, this is Jack Cartwheel. You are watching Simply Reliable Studios.
Say his name and he appears.
I believe in Noah. I believe in Datula. The Meltzer of the multiverse. Who the fuck wants to compare themselves to another? How much of a mark do you have to be? You couldn't even pick a professional athlete. You went with a fucking journalist? Grow up, man.
We just want to say thank you to Simply Reliable Studios for voting us as Tag Team of the Year.
Of course.
Because you know what they say, right? If you can't swim, you're bound to drown.
Tonight, she is sponsored by Simply Reliable Studios from Orlando, Florida. She is everybody's favorite BFF, Izzy Marino.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the weekly moderated insanity known as the Shenanigans here across the Simply Reliable Studios brand of channels. It is I, your moderator extraordinaire, the Renegade of Wrestling, JJ Williams, back in the host seat, joined by the Island of Misfit Toys, the Simple Man Noah Foster.
Hello everybody, and welcome back here once again to the Simply Reliable Studios. You know what this is? Brands, some brands, but voice us for favorite fall-faced professional wrestling. Damn it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring in the rest of the panel. First and foremost, my partner in Love the Bed in AEW. We call the rest of the light and probably upset stomach mindset for some other stuff tonight. It is, of course, Mr. Reliable, Simply Reliable, and true original form, Walter Cruz.
Ronda won in literally 17 fucking seconds. She tackled Gina. Gina fought a little bit. She turned to the side, got that armbar, and she tapped. Literally 17 seconds in the first round.
Well, at least I know I can last longer than Gina Carano. We've got one half of the Canadian connection and a man who just got done doing some hockey coverage with the Scat Boy. Nick is here. What is up, sir?
Why were you guys talking about boobies for 45 minutes?
Theme of the week, today's.
She's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend, Ash. That's actually elegant and not fake. Hello, Ash, how are you?
Enough is enough. I've had it with these motherfucking AEW wrestlers winning my motherfucking New Japan title.
Make sure you tune in every week because you never know who's going to drop in to join the Shenanigans. We do have the man who started it all. Jeff Meacham is with us.
I am impressed with what's going on at the JCW. I'm happy for Russo. I'm happy for Vito. I am a viewer, again, when I can get home and sit my ass down for a half hour, whatever it is, and enjoy that shit.
Popping out before midnight virtually on this app. It is my cohort as fellow gamer and crazy wrestling watching aficionado, Charles Schultz, will also be joining me tonight in the fray as I welcome you into the Shenanigans once again at the end of this fine Saturday.
I just want to keep seeing Mr. Guana show up every single time and just Polieska. I'm still agreeing with JJ. We still need that freaking multi-person puppet match.
A puppet is not a competitor!
Sex dolls are competitors if you go to the right company.
Teleporting in via the morphing grid, our very own Pink Ranger is here.
Hey,
Everybody. You know, I know the firing of Scott Moore was controversial, but I feel like he needed to go in order for TNA to grow. Don't get me wrong, we had some good stuff under Scott Moore, but the company was just stagnant. And You know, look how much they've grown.
If this is what it took for her to acknowledge some of my NXT talent, then I'm here for it. Because we know she doesn't work Tuesdays. So the fact that she watches Thursdays and is still getting exposed to my talent, like, hey, something happened, right? She told me the other night that Trick-in A was some of the best stuff in TNA.
Yeah, I actually really did like Trick-in A.
I was completely shocked and blown away to discover it was Chad Gable under that mask. I had no idea. I would have never guessed it. I never saw it coming. This was just mind-numbing. This was like the reveal that Juan Cena was John Cena. I never in a million years would have guessed that Chad Gable was going to have that.
Is Fleet ever going to lose that title?
Well, you know, everyone can be a dickhead, but how strong a dickhead are you is the real question. I have a pretty strong dick.
I'll take your report.
Good night, everybody. Hopefully no one else heard that.
Cool.
Okay, there we go. Hi, babe. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back once again to the weekly moderate conversation of Racing Matters. That is the Saturday Shenanigans. Bah! I am, of course, right now your moderator, starting off the evening. This is Mendel Foster. Good to see you all once again. Hope you all are doing well. Thank you all for tuning in. Please like, comment, tell a friend. And you want to take the conversation? Super chat, people of the passions. It's as simple as that. Good to see you, Fett and Nathan Banks, always in the chat. Appreciate you all, as always, for your support and continued patience. You allow the passion to continue to pursue and persist and perpetuate. That being said, let's go ahead and bring in the gaggle of fools, as I'm on a countdown now, as you all know, because I got further more important things to deal with before I beat you up find out I do. That being said, as we continue to be your reliable source for all things wrestling, please welcome to the forum Mr. Reliable himself, Walter Cruz. Walter, the two producers, someone else at the bottom, not going to do anything. Walter, how are you? How are you this evening? I'm tired.
I'm okay. I'm tired as well. I didn't touch anything. My voice is a little out of it. Was solo calling GCW while you were calling Collision with partner Ash, but I walked right into the strong dick line when I come into here. What the fuck did I walk into this new intro?
I was about to say, JJ just picked the spots that he could. The one night I'm Noah Ferguson on the late night show with Ash. He finds the one moment, but you know what?
Strong Richard, huh?
Well, I mean, you know, someone's got to pitch the tent. That being said, good to see you, Walter. Appreciate you. Before we bring in the rest of the fools that are currently in dispose right now, let's get right into it. So, first and foremost, it's been a pretty eventful week with, of course, that thumbnail, which will be our main event, but also this upcoming week is going to be most interesting. Yes, most interesting. And extremely busy because we truly are going to be covering all of the professional wrestling. Damn it! So I figured that we will kick things off by starting off with what are we excited about? Because I'm not Cody Rhodes and I have far more exciting things than to talk about that guy and that company. But that being said, what are we excited about? I'll tell you right now, I'm excited for a whole lot of shit. And that being said, there will be four City Predictings next week. I officially decided that NXT will be after NXT next week, 10:30 p.m. Standard Time. Nothing on Wednesday because I'll be busy. I won't be able to watch Dynamite live. I don't know about that, but prayers are my passions. And with the work schedule, doing with a burning building and 50 hours, I crazy life right now. Thursday, don't care. Thursday is going to be Forbidden Dorr, and I don't watch TNA. I don't have TNA Plus, and I sure as hell don't watch AMC. So I'm going to be doing Forbidden Dorr 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time Thursday night. Friday, because SmackDown is going to be done earlier in the week in the UK, so everyone can watch no DQ for spoilers. Don't get an F, but I might go bowling. So just as a precautionary, next week, Friday night after SmackDown, 11:30 p.m. Standard Time, we'll be City Predicting Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. And then Saturday after Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia during the bright afternoon, maybe 6 p.m. Standard Time, Saturday, we will City Predict Slammiversary or the roster thereof. So that's the other two City Predictings. And again, somehow, some way, we are going to cover all four shows, despite commentary voices, and wallets. But that's what we want to do for you folks at the Simple Hour Studios. So that being said, Walter, why don't we go ahead and briefly, simply look at each show and pick something we're excited for? Because while I got my ace in the hole, there is at least one element I think we all can agree that we all can pick that we could say we're excited for it. So let's go down the line and talk about each show for a little bit. Because, of course, they'll be more in depth when we go into the Dead thing. So first off, we will start with not my NXT. But that being said, this is your NXT Great American Bash so far. You got that guy in the bottom right-hand corner. You got the NXT North American Championship. I can go John Oliver on this shit, but I'm not trying to. Unless someone PayPals me $25, then you would get Noah Oliver tonight on Simple Man Tonight. But that's not going to happen otherwise. That being said, I'm an AF in this bitch, man. I'll freaking force people to pay if they want to see the worst out of me and get a raw reaction. But I'm in a happy mood. I had Collision. Very good show. Also, I do think that this women's match is going to set the bar for women's wrestling next week because Kendall Gray has all the tools to be a leading professional wrestler as a champion. Today's modern-day Kurt Angle, in my opinion. All the damn grabs, and the tomboy girl can put away some cake, and I love that. Kendall Gray will challenge. You have no voice, but you better say it.
Mamacita and all her cake.
There you go. And I know you were going to add that element there.
Hey, it's my birthday. We need the cake.
Well, these cumpleaños. As she will be going after the NXT Women's Championship against Lola Grace. And,
no, I mean that day. That day is my birthday, June 28th.
Well, happy pre-lated birthday then. How about that? And then, of course, Tony D'Angelo is defending against
Naraku, I think his name is now.
Narasita. Oh, Naraku. I think you're right. That's it.
Yeah.
So that's the Great American Bash card so far. But since I already say this, it's not my NXT. Let's go ahead, because I did see in the private chat, as my timer continues, bring in the man that will elaborate on his NXT. Let's go ahead and bring in, teleporting in from his own morphing grid, the Renegade Wrestling, JJ Williams. JJ, go ahead. How are you this evening? And then speak on this.
I'm doing well. You guys can hear me okay?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It is hot as hell. That's why I'm sitting here in a tank top. Usually I don't have the guns out. Even in summer, I put on sleeves at the very least. But it is too damn hot in the desert. But
that'll be the day you actually see what's underneath the blazer. I'll tell you that much. Anyway, go ahead and continue your thoughts, and then we'll bring. Well, hold that thought because
go ahead and bring her in because I know she is a huge supporter of the man challenging for my NXT's World Heavyweight Championship.
That being said,
of course, by his old name, you know.
Well, nonetheless.
She's yours, she's mine, she's our Canadian friend.
All right, very good. Get a subtitle next time. All right, yep, Ash is in the chat, and she's on the screen, and she's got the little guy in front of her, it seems. Hello, Ash. Really got your boss. How are you? Good to see you once again.
I'm good. Long live Naraku.
We'll see about that.
He has entered darkness world, for he is evil.
I mean, this brand was evil when it turned rainbow bright and killed its former glory, but that's a whole different conversation.
And possibly Hiromu, because Hiromu's on his way too.
Yeah,
we got some good interviews out of that rainbow situation. Okay, don't trash it.
I will trash whatever the fuck I want because I'm the uncensored voice that it doesn't give two shits about a corporate profit. That being said, don't trigger me because you're already starting to. And you want to bring up guys in rainbow jackets from Japan getting fucked over in the Fed. I'll be happy to bring that up again too.
We don't know that because Finn Balor did well. Yeah.
That being said.
Look, hey, you know, Noah, I will never argue you regarding Black and Gold versus 2.0 because I did not witness Black and Gold, so I can't compare it to 2.0. But even you have admitted that 2.0 had a few bright spots. There are some good talents that came out of that era. While it still may not be your NXT, and while even the silver version may never be your NXT, you've got to at least admit that they've done something right in a few instances.
Blind squirrel can still scratch its nuts and find it at the end of the day. So again,
Exactly.
not much of an accomplishment, but yeah, I guess it's more than 0%. All right, let's talk about this Strawway. JJ, again, I gave you the mic to start off with because you represent this brand more than anyone else in this internet family. So speak and pass off to whoever and talk about what you are most anticipating or excited for.
Well, I've said this a few times in the past when we've done Simply Predicting and whatnot. I am way behind on NXT. You know, with my work schedule being what it is and the fact that it uploads the next day to the CW app, I don't even know the stories going in and how these matches came to be. That said, I'm looking forward to the women. If there is one thing NXT has done right, and I know you'll acknowledge and admit this, from the 2.0 era till today, it is the women's division. Yeah, they may have made a shoddy skateboard that broke in half before it could be used as a weapon, but from Mandy Rose to Roxanne Perez to Indy Hartwell to Tiffany Stratton, you know, and on down the line, if there is one thing that the 2.0 till now era of NXT has done properly, it's the women. Lola Vice, legit MMA fighter, not just a gimmick. Kendall Gray, legit amateur wrestler, not just a gimmick. These two women are going to fuck at the Great American Bash. And I don't mean that in a sexual Pornhub way. I mean, this match is going to kick fucking ass.
It better. All right. Very good.
Ash, I'll throw it to you since I know how much you love Evil.
I saw like little clips of the like the sit down interview they did, and I love how they referenced House of Torture, which is awesome because that means WWE, or at least on the NXT side of front, they're actually recognizing other places, which is a lot of people bitched about, that they just don't recognize outside of stuff in WWE, but they're actually like starting to recognize, which is awesome.
Took him long enough.
Now, if Naraku does win, that's cool. If not, where does he go from there? And I'm also excited that there's rumors, heavy rumors. We don't know for certain yet. Yeah, for certain that Hiromu Takahashi is on his way too. So those two might be teaming up, which is good because I miss those two teaming together because they have history with each other, being former Los Ingobernables de Japón stablemates in New Japan. So that's another dynamic, and also another tag team for NXT because they are lacking tag teams.
Yeah, how long will that tag team last? And you and I both know Ema Sanada was the premier tag team for Los Ingobernables de Japón in New Japan. 3-time World Tag League winners. Anyway. All right. That being said, pass the baton off to Walter. Walter, which match you most anticipated or excited for here on NXT before we got everyone back in the screen?
Are you really gonna ask that? You're
Yeah,
gonna
you
ask
might as
me
well
about
talk about it. I mean, really? Yeah, you know, people may not know who you are. You think you know him? Well, you're about to know him now. So go ahead and elaborate.
No, I agree with JJ. The women's division has been the one constant in NXT. You know, from JC Jane surprising us all and her reigns and everything that they've done. Although I don't still understand why Jada hasn't gotten a run, but that's neither here nor there. I'm looking forward to the women's match, and you know what? If Lola loses this title, I won't even be that disappointed. Because look at the caliber and the style of person that she loses it to.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you said it. She's like the female's version of Kurt Angle coming out of it. And she has the legit background in amateur wrestling. It's going to be a good match. And, you know, it'll be my birthday. I will not be disappointed in whoever takes it. So, believe it or not, I know everybody's expecting me to be all over Mamacita. I'm not sure who's going to actually win this because she's had a quite lengthy run already. So, I wouldn't be surprised. But I'm also looking forward. I believe this. I was about to call him Evil again. This is his debut on PLE, right? Because he hasn't been there that long.
Correct.
So I'm looking forward to see what they do with that as well. The Deion Lennox, Shakon Sugar, yeah, they kicked him out of the group, whatever. This is his revenge. I'm assuming he's going to have to take on the rest of Dark State one-on-one, and he's going to run through all of them until he gets to... well, actually, I feel like Deion should have been left last because I feel like he was the initial leader of the group, but we'll see what happens. And then the North American Championship, whatever, to be honest.
It hasn't been the same since Ethan Page lost it. That being said, accurate. Yeah, that match in the bottom right should be left in the dark. I should just put a black window over it. Yeah, Tony D'Angelo being one of the oldest of the last of a class in NXT, representing it against one of the newest arrivals here. I mean, we saw what happened, so I mean, it very well could be a case where Noku actually wins the championship. But yeah, if what I've seen from Kendall Gray since she arrived from the Iron Survivor on the NXT stage, what I've seen develop with Lola Vice since she finally won this title, what was an incredible, people forgot it happened because Stan delivered. Yeah, it was a thing. It wasn't during WrestleMania week, but yeah, it was a thing, folks. During that triple threat when she won the title, has defended it since. I mean, yeah, if these two don't set a precipice for women in wrestling in WWE, then NXT's already fucked up. I expect this to literally steal the night. It has my full attention. It's the only fucking match I will literally see on screen live. So I hope that Kendall Gray and Lola Vice throw down, grapple it up, knock one or the other out, or forces the other to tap out and get a definitive one-on-one decision that should have happened prior to Stan delivered, damn it. Controversial double pin my ass. So yeah, I will say again, kick ass Kendall Gray, then eat cake. And Lola Vice, see what awaits for you. You've been ruling everywhere else, including AAA, but right now they got Catalina and Bailey holding things down there. So let's see how much longer this run goes, and then see insert name here from NXT Women's Division. That could be a threat. Maybe if Jada Parker actually beats Natty and proves her championship caliber again, maybe she'll be back in the championship picture. Highly unlikely, whole likelihood, quote unquote, Aaron Riff. But I'm definitely looking forward to the NXT Women's Championship match, and then there's the rest. So again, folks, that's NXT's Great American Bash. As you can see, they are on the CW 7 p.m. Standard Time. That is Sunday, June 28th. If you want to watch it, otherwise, watch it on demand via your local VPN internet provider. But smart web browsing, don't get a virus. And good luck to Kendall Gray and Lola Vice especially. Everyone else, do your thing. I guess they're here for a reason. Okay. Well, that was NXT. That's one of 4 shows. And again, folks, in case you are just now tuning in, again, we are hyping up the freaking crazy-ass week of the summer where we go all in on all things wrestling and without going all in, which, again, I cannot come soon enough. And again, you will get 4 city predictings at the following times. Stay tuned, as always. And again, stay tuned for prediction forums because, of course, all 4 leagues will be in play. So good luck to everybody across all 4 leagues. Ash, I do believe you are still in the lead for the All-Elite Fleet in the All-Elite League, but Forbidden Door might very well change that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go ahead and move on into our next show on the agenda. And I think since we're talking about NXT, we'll talk about the other bit of the Fed when it comes to the Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia. So as we know, we've had the King and Queen of the Ring tournament. Apparently, they've also rehashed an All United States Championship rivalry for the women. And maybe we'll absolutely get something fresh and noteworthy that could steal the night for the Men's United States Championship. Oh, and Ash, I expect you to go John for the night when I show you the WWE Championship match. Because here, folks, is your Night of Champions match card. Yep, Liv Morgan's in the finals. They gave it to her. It's Liv Morgan versus Io Sky. I hope that's on the first hour of ESPN. It's Jey Uso versus winning. It's Seth freaking Rollins and Braun Breaker, insert number here. But this time inside a steel cage. I'm expecting somebody to get speared or break through the cage and the match get thrown out. And then you have both United States Championships being defended in Saudi Arabia. One is Jade Cargill, against Timothy Stratton. The other one is Trick Williams versus the first time ever, Ricky Saints. Yes, folks, that is heel on heel. But also, Ash, I'm going to start with you, because look what's in the middle left. As Cody Rhodes defends the WWE Undisputed WWE Championship against Gunther and Sami Zayn in a triple threat. I will give you all a little bit of this hashing. Sami Zayn was special guest referee versus Gunther and Cody. Yeah, that went nowhere. Now we got a triple threat. Go figure. Sammy's been a whiny, crying little baby ever since losing in Saudi Arabia, ironically enough, at the Royal Rumble to Drew McIntyre. And Gunther, of course, is still owed his Chad Game one-on-one rematch on a level of pride because at the end of the day, the referee did not see the foot break underneath the bottom rope. Then there's the rest of this stuff. Keep in mind, the winners of the Night of Champions tournaments will challenge for the respective undisputed WWE Championship or WWE World Heavyweight Championship, or the respective WWE Women's Championship, or the Women's World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. So, Ash, let's pick your brain first. Your favorite man is defending the undisputed WWE Championship. Once again, this time against two people, so he doesn't be involved in the decision. You know how I feel about triple threats, buffer, fall person. And you got everything else. But I'm hoping something actually happens out of Ricky Saints versus Trick Williams, even though it's heel on heel. What's your thoughts on this card? What are you most excited or anticipated about?
So has it been determined that, let's say, for example, like Liv does win the tournament, does she get to pick her opponent? Kind of like how they do with the G1 Climax?
No, they said she'll become double champ.
Well then, shit. Liv too, though.
Not become, but she'll face the women's champion Rhea to determine somebody will become undisputed champ.
Okay.
Yes, that's basically their trope of why Charlotte Flair lost.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Because I haven't been following up with like that close to the tournament. Although I have been watching like some matches, but most of the part is just like, yeah, this doesn't interest me, so I'll skip it. Sadly.
There's a reason why YouTube has a fast forward button, thankfully. Continue.
I'm hoping EO wins because, sure, it's like it's been done to death between EO and Rhea Ripley, but I love seeing those two wrestle. And plus, Rhea has yet to beat EO, so there's that. And plus, it being for the title adds some stakes to it, which just makes Rhea want to like not just retain, but actually overcome the obstacle that is EO Sky.
Fair enough.
The Gunther, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn match. I wouldn't mind. I don't know how I feel about it because I want to enjoy the match, but I just know that I have this feeling that Cody Rhodes is going to retain, and I don't see him dropping that title until maybe Royal Rumble at the latest. Or
damn.
Yeah, because I have this feeling because like this company is very high on Cody Rhodes, so I don't see him losing that title until WrestleMania. That's when he's going to drop it.
Well then.
Yeah, because of how high the company is. Not just high, but the fan base itself. Because as much as I don't care for Cody Rhodes, I can't deny that people love the guy. So they're going to push him.
Well, they're trying to push him, I think, as this generation's John Cena, if I'm being perfectly honest, because there's still that little bit of polarization, especially international, but continue.
Yeah. Obafemi versus Jay. I'm hoping Obo wins, but I have a feeling that possibly Jay's going to win. And then that adds to more bloodline drama, which I don't know how to, because I don't know how to feel, because as much as I like the bloodline drama, it's just like, yeah, I don't know much more they can do with it. That's the sad part. Because like, if Jay does go to win the tournament and who knows, if he does challenge Roman, where does he go from there? Because my mindset is I don't see either champions losing the title until WrestleMania. And it's just like, where do we go from there? I know I'm looking too far ahead, but that's just where I'm at.
Well, I mean, hindsight's 2020 when it comes to Mr. Fantasy booking better than the entire WWE staff included or an AI agent that's on our fucking screen, still not on contract, wasted potential. But that being said, anything else, Ash, before I pass the baton?
Jade versus Tiffany. I hope this match turns out a lot better than the previous match that they had. Because I'm not saying the match was bad, but it just had felt more to be desired. Like they could have like done a little bit more with it. And I think if rumor was correct that Tiffany was injured at the time,
Correct.
so they really couldn't do much, and they did the best they can to work around it. But now that they're both healthy, maybe the result could be better. Like the match could end up being better. The U.S. title match, hope it slaps. And for Rollins versus Breaker, it could be good too. I'm not really I'm not that much interested in the match, even though I like Seth Rollins. I'm just kind of over the feud with Division.
The Vapor, but I also agree. Okay, well, thank you for that quick take on this 6-pack. Appreciate you always, Ash. All right, let's pass the baton right up the ladder on this Mortal Kombat Tower to Mr. Most Creative here, the Renegade Wrestling JJ Williams. JJ, your bitch is back in the mid card. I think it's right where she belongs. And truth be told, Tiffany wasn't at 100%. But I think that her and Tiffany, very comfortable working together. I think it's a very comfortable way to work this feud. The first feud since Tiffany won the United States Championship off Julia. Don't get me started on that. Who's a heel? Who's a face? Who's the gingerbread man? In this case, between Ricky Saints and Trick Williams, I'll let you deliberate on that. And Jey Uso versus Roman. Again, Cody Rhodes still champion. Finally closed the book on Io Sky versus Rhea. And how much vaping do we have left with the Vapor when it comes to Braun Breaker and Seth freaking Rollins? Your takes on all this, your most anticipated, my friend. The floor is yours.
Well, I'll save my takes on everything for when we get to simply predicting.
That's fair.
Because I know we've got you on a timer. And I want to get your thoughts on some of the other things we're going to discuss.
All right.
As far as what I'm most looking forward to,
which is key to this,
and I think it's going to shock people, but if they've been paying attention, my feelings on a certain person have somewhat changed over the last 6 to 8 months. Io and Liv.
Mm-hmm.
I think the plan going into things was Io versus Rhea at SummerSlam, where Rhea finally would get her victory over Io. However, ... However, I've been reading reports and believe rumors for what you want that Rhea is injured.
Oh, no.
So I could see, if we can bring down what is up there.
You
Thank
fucker.
you.
You fucker.
I could see Liv winning and not wanting to wait till SummerSlam. Calling Rhea out right then and there and dethroning her. Impromptu title match because it's Night of Champions, not Night of Tournament Winners. And you crown a brand new, undisputed women's champion in Saudi, and it's Liv fucking Morgan. This all depends on whether Rhea is legit injured or not. Because if she's injured, chances are she's not going to be cleared by August 1st. So why drag this out?
Because it's the Fed. That's kind of what they do sometimes. And
Okay,
they've done it in the past.
But they do it when it makes sense to do it. If somebody is injured and not going to be cleared for SummerSlam, it doesn't make sense to have Io or a Liv versus Rhea match at SummerSlam. That just makes no sense.
All right. Fair enough.
Get it over with. Call her out. Quick roll up. You know, Dom can distract Rhea as she's getting into the ring. Oblivion. 1, 2, 3, 30-second match. You know, we're talking honky tonk Ultimate Warrior here. And Rhea goes out without any further damage.
It most likely will be either Raquel or Roxanne as far as carrying the Judgment Day narrative. But I absolutely do see what you're putting down, and I also agree with it to a degree. I'm pretty sure I said in a NoDQ review, I had either Io Sky or Charlotte Flair because those are the biggest marquee matches you can put against Mommy to sell tickets for SummerSlam. But trying to hyper speed the freaking narrative based on a potential injury makes even more sense for Liv Morgan to be the ultimate opportunist, considering her and Mommy's history. And that last little angle when she left Raw. See you soon. I look forward to it. Screw Crown Jewel. Do it now. And then see when Mommy comes back up from down under in Australia from recovery.
And
Fair
then,
enough, JJ.
And then let's not forget, we've got Money in the Bank coming later this year in October.
What a weirdo.
Hold on. All I'm saying is that can be how they split the belts back up if they want to.
Yeah.
It's whoever cashes the briefcase in only gets one belt, Liv keeps the other. If they want to split the belts up.
We'll see. With Paul Heyman's already talked about this.
Because if they're going to unify that one, then they need to start unifying all of them. Especially if they're going to call Cody Rhodes a fucking undisputed champion. Because he's not a fucking undisputed champion when there's a World Heavyweight Championship on the other goddamn show.
Well, look at the print. Try zoom in, folks. Do you not see what it reads?
I don't care what it reads.
He's the undisputed WWE
But he's not
champion.
undisputed.
But the WWE
There is a World Heavyweight
doesn't
Championship
care.
on Braun Breaker's shoulder. I don't care that they want to try and say it's undisputed. It's not undisputed if there's not another title.
I love this trope that gets under his skin that they just don't give a fuck about. Because at the end of the day, they still call Cody Rhodes the undisputed WWE champion.
Just because they acknowledge him as that doesn't mean I have to.
Yeah, well, tell that to the rest of the WWE universe and see how many of them agree with you. All right. Thank you for that.
Okay. Safet, Chris, and whoever else is in the chat. Matt, Money Mac, is Cody Rhodes an undisputed champion when there is a World Heavyweight Championship that exists on the other show? Yes or no?
Just build a poll and use that on Studio 24 on the X, damn it. Jesus. All right. Moving on. Thank you, JJ. I love you, man. You're such a fool, but you're
Bam.
also an accurate
It's
fool.
disputed.
Okay, 1 out of 698 billion. Get back with me. Okay. Walter, number 2. Let's go with you. What is your freaking, because I'm sure you also agree with JJ. That's why I called you number 2 in that conversation. All right. As far as I'm concerned, you're just 1B when it comes to JJ because you both share a brain, damn it. What are you most anticipating? Thank you. What are you most anticipating regarding Night of Champions? Len, your thought.
Well, first of all, JJ's in my head because I don't know if you remember, but during the review when we were backstage, it's exactly what I said. I said there's no Money in the Bank winner. So they might do whoever wins the Queen of the Ring, calls Rhea right out, and they do an impromptu match so she can get beat if she's legit injured. I didn't say it on the air, but we said it backstage. And we know how I feel about the disputed and undisputed because there's a reason UFC has interim titles, and then you win the undisputed championship by having the two champs fight each other. But WWE doesn't get that concept.
Nope.
Anyways, believe it or not, I'm really looking forward to the Gunther, Cody, and Sammy match, believe it or not, because I want to see what they do. Because here's this opportunity to take the title off of Cody without him being involved, and do they have the balls to do it? That's what I really want to know. So I'm not giving a prediction because it's simply prediction and things like that. But I'm actually really, really looking. And you guys know my birthday is June 28th. King of the Ring was always near that, so it's my favorite event. I wish they would bring it back as its own PLE.
Right.
But they got Night of Champions and they're doing this. So, yes, the finals I'm looking forward to, but I'm really looking forward to see what they do with the WWE title and why Sammy's involved in here because I said it as soon as WrestleMania was announced and Royal Rumble was announced in Saudi, I said Sammy's probably winning that Royal Rumble. So I figure this is part of like the first domino to fall to get Sammy into the main event of WrestleMania. So we'll have to see, but that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I can't decide whether or not I'm looking forward to the first Liv Morgan, considering their history with Rhea Ripley and the uncertainty of Rhea even being at SummerSlam, let alone being still the champion, or Cody Rhodes, Gunther, and Sami Zayn, where Gunther, I think, has yet to win the belt, the undisputed WWE Championship in WWE, you know, the actual symbol of WWE, and Sami Zayn being this, you know, moopy Muppet. The triple threat, what do I always say? Buffer, fall person, How do you remove Gunther from the Undisputed WWE Championship picture while finally inserting Sammy into it, and you really push the Sammy and Cody narrative? And then maybe you finally try and see if Sammy can psychologically have the audience work against Cody. I don't know, but I think those two matches particularly have my interest because, again, can Io Sky continue to be undefeated against Mommy, or will Mommy go where she's best as a heel to those lengths to actually fracking win against Io Sky? It just makes so much damn effing sense. So I think in general, it's those two I'm most looking forward to. Now, yeah, I witnessed Jay and Roman live. I wish I didn't. All right, I don't need to see that again. I'm over Bloodline 6.0. As far as everything else, meh. Okay, why are we doing Cuba Super United States Championship? Okay, I guess you got nobody else. It'd be too easy to do Trick Metal Game, but nonetheless, I really am looking forward to seeing Io Sky hopefully putting them down. But if this circumstance affecting Mommy is legit, then I could definitely see the whole let's get an undisputed women's champion in WWE, because they've never done that with the women. Nope, they never done that with the women. Nope. I was just going through my brain to fact check if they did that. Nope, they didn't. And as far as the undisputed WWE Championship, it's just they swerved Gunther to SmackDown for a reason. I'm just saying. So, yep, those are my two, and I'm looking forward to seeing what happens out of those. As far as the rest, All right, JJ, I see your hand before moving to our next show. What's up?
Real quick question, because I wasn't watching at the time. What about when Becky was Becky 2 belts?
Yes, but it wasn't one belt. That's my thing.
Okay,
Remember,
that was going to be my question. Is like, did they not refer to her as undisputed champion, even though she rocked 2 belts, like Jericho in 2000, 2001?
Yes, yes. I'm just saying
Okay.
one belt defining you as the undisputed, like they did with the WWE and the Universal. That nonsense. They've never done that with the women. Is basically what I'm saying. A singular symbol versus singular title in text versus 2 belts in context. But I see what you mean. All right. Again, Paul Heyman, accurate. Too many belts. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and move on into our next show. Again, folks, there you see, of course, the agenda of the predictings that are to come. So stay tuned. Ash, did you have your hand up? I just saw you doing this. You okay?
Yeah, I was just scratching my head. That's all.
I'm just making sure.
And real quickly, you may need to flip-flop Slammiversary and Forbidden Door, because Slammiversary is going to start at 3 p.m. Eastern on Saturday.
It's Sunday, dude.
My bad. I missed the day. My bad.
It's okay. I
Carry
got
on.
you. Yeah,
Carry
you're all
on.
good, brother. There's peace.
Carry on, my wayward son.
Yeah, there's peace when this week is done for all of us. Trust me on that, folks. But again,
I've
I'm not
been
going to bust
tired.
on that. Dude, I'm always tired. I live tired. Somehow I'm on autopilot, so it's all good. But that being said, since you did bring up such the case, and what a perfect way to tease a taste of what's to come when we talk about what's left of TNA, it seems. Let's go ahead and talk about what should be their marquee event. And that, of course, is TNA Slammiversary. And they have quite a few number of matches on the card. So with that being said, let's go ahead and look at it. This time we will go the opposite way down the tower. And we will start with my brother in TNA who went there live recently. Walter! Here's your card for TNA Slammiversary, folks. You have, of course, all the titles on the line, and Ricky Solis and Eric Young, and you have the brought back tradition of Ultimate X, and we even have another ladder match for the tag team championships. So that being said, and maybe Moose Net Airways finally put away this system beef, but I don't think the system's going to shut down, much as I want to see it happen. I'm going to
Even though we just got a broken Moose.
I mean, I don't know what a Moose is right now, but all I know is right now.
I don't know if you know, but there was a broken Moose because there was a 6-man tag, and he tagged with the broken Hardys, and he literally was broken. Moose was broken. He came out to like a mix of his song and their song, and he had the coat and everything. Moose was broken. Last Impact. It's freaking hilarious.
That's a scary sight. But that being said, what are you most hype or anticipated about to witness, see, cover, hear, or look back on with this year's TNA Slammiversary?
All right. What I'm looking forward to the most. if you're a true TNA fan and actually watched since the beginning, what made TNA unique, aside from the 6-sided ring, was the fucking Ultimate X match. I am so looking forward to that. If they can bring back the way they used to do it. Now they don't got the 6 sides of the ring. They don't. Hopefully it's the poles that are X and they have to crawl and get it. I don't know exactly how they're gonna do it, but I'm so looking forward to that. That was like one of my favorite matches in TNA history, and I can't wait for that. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. You know how I feel about Santana and everything, and the world title is just something. I feel like the company was built on the back of that X division from back in the day, and that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
I'm so proud of you. All right. Well, thank you for that. Brief and simple. Let's go right down the horn here, and let's go to our Canadian friend, Ash. Hello, Ash. So, Ash, TNA Slammiversary. Here you'll see the pay-per-view, and again, folks, it's available exclusively on the TNA Plus app. If you have the yearly subscription or you purchase it for, I think, 40 or 50, I don't know, something plus tax, Canadian or American. Ash, looking at this card, what are you most anticipated or excited about?
So I'm a sucker for a ladder match. You announce a ladder match, I'm instantly hooked. I love ladder matches. That's one of my favorite match stipulations.
A human car wreck, basically.
Yeah. The Ultimate X match, you can't go wrong. That's always been a highlight for me from when I used to watch TNA. I would always look forward to the X division. When I first started watching NXT, or not NXT, TNA, slip of the tongue, you know. But there are, God damn it, no.
Company versus time, whole different story. Continue.
Yeah, so when I first started watching TNA, there was 3 divisions that got me hooked. The tag division, the X division, and the women.
Good choices.
That's all I'm excited for on this card.
Let's see. Tag division, ladder match. X division, Ultimate X. Women's division, Knockouts World Championship, non-existent tag division. Okay. Well, thank you for that. Let's go now down to JJ, who I still believe has the original edition of the TNA X Division Championship. And considering one of your boys that hasn't been involved in this match for, what is it now, 15 years? Someone check the clock. Is back in Ultimate X. I don't think I'm going to have to ask which one he's most anticipated about. But JJ, the floor is yours. Most anticipated match for TNA Slammiversary or a moment. Go ahead.
I'm gonna say to Walter, get the fuck out of my head, because I'm looking forward to that Ultimate X, especially with the king
there it is.
of TNA returning to the X division.
Oh, bloody hell.
Frankie Kazarian, as well as amazing fucking Red.
Yeah, that one caught me there. I was like, what?
Like, look, I've been saying this for, I don't want to say quite the last year, but the last 6 to 8 months.
For the longest time.
No, I wouldn't say for too long, but I feel like Red is starting to wind his career down. He had that match against Darren Richardson in House of Glory. He took his boots off. He left him in the rain. And then he came back and he grabbed him like, I'm not done just yet. But ever since that moment, I've been kind of feeling like Red is winding down. And I think this is one last big hurrah on the stage that made him TNA to kind of give back before he's done officially. You know, and he gets to tie up with Cedric Alexander, Leon Slater. He gets Frankie Kazarian again. The rest are just kind of like whatever
extras.
But Red being able to be in there with those other men, those 3 other men, I think means a lot for him.
Personally, I'd rather have seen this be a fatal 4-way with the 4 men you mentioned, but that's just me.
Now, I'm gonna predict something, Noah, because you clowned a specific division. But I believe the match you are most looking forward to is the Elegance brand versus Demon X Bunny for the Knockouts tag titles, because your girl, who just was announced the other day that she signed a TNA contract, could actually walk out of Slammiversary with some tag team gold. Am I lying or am I right?
You're wrong. It's the TNA Knockouts World Championship. So it might be the first TNA Knockouts World Championship match that matters this whole calendar fucking year. The fact of the matter is, think about it for your thoughts. I'm going to get real with you. You want an impact? Here's a fucking impact. How about you have titles for a fucking division? I don't need an empty, hollow victory for somebody that's far better than this when they're being used for nothing more because you filled out your freaking roster, filtering out the talent that was in it when you had 4 damn tag teams in the first fucking place without NXT's inception. The bottom line is this. TNA is a hollow vessel of what it fucking was. And Slammiversary is its last chance to resuscitate new life in the letters TNA and what it stood for in being an alternative and not a singularity or a future fart breeding, breastfeeding the fucking WWE. Now, back to normal here. Let's get back on track here. But yes, I think Lady Leaves are Brookside, the follow of Angel Warriors, gotten very personal. Both TNA, both very strong about this TNA Knockouts World Championship, what it stands for, what it means, and the relationship should bring a very compelling match. And of course, I've always held the TNA Knockouts World Championship to a different standard when it comes to the identity and the value of women in professional wrestling. Now that it's back on a rightful, fighting, worthwhile, capable person, TNA founded, once again, I'm very hopeful that Lei Ling Lee can restore prestige to this championship, and trying to literally subdue and defeat her former partner, the Angel of the Ring that's gone dark that she looks to cook the wings of, is going to be a very fun match for me to see. But also, as TNA faithful, you can't say anything more that hasn't been said by Walter or JD when it comes to what Ultimate fucking X means to TNA wrestling. Without that, TNA doesn't exist. Damn it, period, point blank, simple as fucking that. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, and Kazarian being involved in it for the first time in over a decade surprises me. But honestly, he could become a 7-time X Division champion. Hell, when he came back to TNA, hey, here's some props for your boy. He beats people like Billy, Crossface Chicken Wing, called his shot, went after the TNA World Championship for the first time, and it could be the catapult that gets him back there at some point, because Option C is still a thing. Ladder matches in Slammiversary are always synonymous, especially when it comes to the Hardys that pushed a button and used a rope ladder last year, let's forget, to regain the damn championships. Now they're going in here broken? Oh, Lord. Oh, who knows what them and the Righteous are going to do to each other. Think what I'm saying, man? Trying to close the book on the system and seeing Mike Santana and Nick Nemeth and how passionate they are, where Nick Nemeth, I guess, is the face now. As long as you keep out Timu Nemeth, then I will respect you for what you're doing and calling your shot here and be in the main event. Hopefully half the damn audience doesn't walk out on you all like Bound for Glory. I think that's going to be a very competitive match as well. And as far as Demon X Bunny for life, congratulations, Allie. I want your TNA run this go around to not just be in vain for a cinematography scene to draw a rating on AMC for TNA or lack thereof. If you're going to crown new tag team champions, you better fucking have a division for them to defend it against or for people to come after them. Because Elegance Brand versus blank versus Elegance Brand, when it's the same damn team on both sides for your eternity of your shallow existence left, is not a fucking tag division when you have the most prominent women's tag division at one point. But overall, TNA Wrestling, at least there's 2 matches I'm extremely looking forward to, and at least 1 moment, not the match. Because again, fuck the Elegance Brand, but at least I might be able to see Demon X Bunny win together as a tag team when they started off as rivals in a bygone life as Demon versus Slayer. Now, if they fuck Demon X Bunny, you don't want me on camera. All right, that being said, that's Slammiversary. Sorry, not sorry. Looking forward to it somewhat. Don't fuck it up. Make me believe that TNA still could be TNA again, especially when we get to our main event topic. Okay, that being said, before we take our commercial break, we got 1 more show to discuss. While you got a little bit of a rant out of me, I'm going to cool down now, or shall I say be tranquilo. despite the fact there is no Los Granada de Japón anymore in the business by name, but by brotherhood, there certainly is. Name be damned, while Nick tried to analyze my brain and everyone tries to nitpick, dissect a frog's penis and stomach more than the fucking name itself, why there's actual continuity in Stardom, why there's actual beef with New Japan and AEW when it comes to AEW, and why you got CMML presented. And yes, as always, here at Simply Predicting and Simply Studios, we always focus on main cards, folks. Pre-shows and countdowns, we don't give a shit unless we truly believe it has real implications on the main show's premise. And regardless, AEW, you got great pre-shows, you don't. But shout out to Divine Dominion, who will be defending against Thunder Rosa and Olympia, those tag titles, and Olympia once again feuding with Megan Bayne. Again, if you did not go see that match, go watch Amazonian's CMLL show. But that being said, allow me to open the door to Forbidden Door for you folks. There's your main event, main card. We have Kenny Omega, Zack Sabre Jr. We have both Owen Foundation Tournament Finals. Starlight Kid goes to the Forbidden Door for the first time ever. JJ, first time ever against Fekla. John Moxley goes one-on-one with Bandito. We have Unbound Company, triple threat tag team exhibition action. We got Kid Yuko versus the Dogs. And we have Shota Umino defending New Japan's honor and gold against the Bastard Pac. And Mark Briscoe with a chance at Triple B if he beats Team MJF inside Steel Cage. But this is your Forbidden Door main card. Man, Tony Khan, don't book another match. You don't need 10. I think 9 is a great number. Still think it's too much. I probably would move 2 matches, but that's just me. But seriously, this is a perfect grid of matches. Don't do anything else. Now, we have gone around the horn. I think everyone started off something in some way, somehow, for the most part. So let's go ahead and get everyone's brief thoughts on this. Because again, we're not predicting. We're talking about anticipated excitement, what we're most looking forward to, the hype. And that being said, because she's been called out, fine, why not? Ladies first. Hi, Ash. Because you and I did just call the collision that, of course, set up the finals of the Women's Orientation Tournament. And you got to call your boy, give you a great little tune-up match of what Kenny Omega might have to deal with since G1 Climax 28. And stay tuned, folks, because me and Ash might actually bring back the simple session for one time only to further hype this up since AEW Unrestricted is no longer a thing. In time to be determined, exclusively at Bay for Wrestling and the Cements brand. So that being said, Ash, let your batty mind run wild. What are you most excited about? What are you most anticipating? Go ahead.
Can I have the cop-out answer to say the entire card?
You know what? That's fair.
Because War Dogs versus CNC Concerto Factory sounds pretty good.
CNC Concerto Factory. Someone needs to put that as a shirt.
Bandito versus Moxley could be good because I love Bandito. Bandito is one of my homies. I love him so much. He is the man. Not the man, because obviously this is my man. But
I'm about to say, you go against him, we're gonna get your brain on lobotomy. Continue.
The triple threat tag match. Hey, look, guys, companies, they're partners, they're being represented. What? That's what you guys wanted, right? That's what you're getting. And Super Junior's action.
I wonder who Ash is referring
featuring
to.
Shingo Takagi, because he's not a junior no more.
I know, he's a heavyweight. I guarantee you he's a heavyweight. But also, let me go ahead and zoom that in for you a little bit. Bloop. You were saying?
CMML, AEW, New Japan. What more could you ask?
Continue.
We got Umino versus Pac, which is the 3rd or 4th or 5th New Japan representation, because a lot of people complain that there's not enough New Japan representation or titles. So we got newly crowned global champion Shota Umino versus Pac, which adds to the whole Umino versus Gabe Kidd stuff that's going on, because Gabe is aligned with the Death Riders, even though his former homies in the War Dogs are still there. So they have yet to interact with each other, which I'm looking forward to. Starlight Kid, someone I've been hearing a lot about. I can't wait to see her. I've seen clips of her, and oh my god, I love her. I can't wait to see this match.
There's a reason why El Desperado literally encompasses her, and Wild Desperado is one of her biggest role models.
Oh my god, I love that too. I love that pairing so much. Despy and Starlight Kid. It's scary and adorable at the same time.
Adorable.
It is it not?
You're not wrong, to be fair. Continue.
We got the two Owen Hart finals, which I'm more looking forward to the Mercedes Maya World match because Maya has been impressing me as of late. I want to see her as champion sometime in the future, whether it be AEW Women's or TBS, work her way up. Swerve Ospreay, not much needs to be said. It's gonna they work so well together. They're gonna put on a big match, and Omega versus Zack is just gonna fucking slap and turn me on so hard.
Well, tell us how you really feel. This woman's about to have freaking euphoria, or or both.
I don't know who I want to win. That's the sad part. I don't know who to cheer for. Zack and Omega.
That's a great thing. You don't give a damn about the result. You just care about watching the match.
Right. That match, I'm just going to sit back and relax and enjoy the shit out of it because you can't go wrong with Omega and Zack Sabre Jr., whether they're wrestling together or like just wrestling in general. Because
you know what? I'm just going to do my thing and stare at the monitor and be play-by-play. If you're just there staring off into space, also on screen, I more than welcome it. But you know what? Nonetheless, looking forward to your batty takeaways after this pay-per-view, and good luck at predictions, Ash. And I hope you're positively predicting.
I got a crown to protect.
You do for the time being. But again, I think Forbidden Door is going to be a pivotal point in many people's thoughts in AEW, and maybe with scores and predictions, including me. All right. Thank you, Ash. I love the energy. All right. Drink your coffee and calm down. Tranquilo, young man.
Yes,
Tranquilo.
Absolutely. Yes.
All right.
I was about to say, I'm going to, before we pass it off, I wasn't feeling this Forbidden Door pay-per-view concept. And then after watching Collision, I'm just immediately sold now.
Hey, sometimes all you need is the right way to push you forward or the right type of booking to engage you, and you'd be surprised what happens in front of you. Plus, AEW pay-per-views. The thing is, AEW pay-per-views have set a standard for professional wrestling, for professional wrestling fans of this age, where you have expectations to a point, and you're like, I'm happy. And then you're like, okay, why isn't that quite there? And then you also get that point sometimes where you're like, let's fucking go. And
patience is a virtue.
Amen to that, sister. And there's a reason why I live patient and tired. All right, and why I'm always patient with all of you. Although you're the one that drives me the least batty, quote unquote, despite your name. Despite the fact you broke me on Collision. Nice job, by the way.
Thank you.
Also, screw you. All right, that being said, let's go to my fellow Hermano. Walter, give your thoughts. Most anticipated hype, Forbidden Door. Brief and simple, go ahead.
Ash, get out of my head, because I literally was going to say, I'm fat, I'm greedy, I'm just going to say the whole goddamn card. Because, like, I can't pick one. Nobody does pay-per-views the way AEW fucking does the pay-per-views, so I'm not going to just pick one thing. I'm looking forward to the whole damn card. It's as simple as that.
Simple man approved. Fuck, what am I here? All right, then. Damn. All right. I love it. Again, we're over the hour mark, too, so I expect Jada to be briefing simple as well, because I'll just go ahead and say this, because you're probably like, well, you always last, Nola. All right, fine. You want to hear my thought? Here it is. Let's fucking go! My God, this car looks amazing! I got startup! I got continuity with the fucking president being assaulted by Thekla again this morning, and I love it! I love this war with Thekla and Stardom. It's so fucking fun. Maya World Cinderella story. I pray that she succeeds because she more than deserves it. Ospreay and Swerve. I just pray Ospreay's neck survives. This is his World Cup. Ospreay, go for the goal, achieve the dream. Swerve is going to be more dangerous than ever. Kenny Omega, Zack Sabre Jr. Thank you, wrestling gods. Speed, intensity, pride for your company, pride for your integrity and what you believe professional wrestling should be represented and be. That's the Death Riders. Freaking Shota Umino and Pac. I'm just waiting to see who hits the other one harder. John Moxley, Bandito. How far is Bandito willing to take this shot? Could he surprise with an upset Moxley? I got Shingo Takagi on Forbidden Door. I'm set. And then I got, probably a nice little, I'm just going to call it what it is. The 12-minute at the end, it's going to be fun. But if it's the closer, it is what it is because it's MJF and it's the premise of the championship. But like I said, if I were to take one match away that you think, oh, why is it here? Maybe the 12-man steel cage could be its own thing on a Dynamite, like a blood and guts type thing, but it is what it is. I'm just ready to call this fucking show and watch this show because as a fan of Shinyan Pro Wrestling, Japan, and Stardom, especially being showcased here this year, Stardom with a heavier presence than ever before with Starlight Kid for the first time ever. Again, let's fucking go. Period. Okay, now let's go to JJ, and then we'll wrap this up and turn it in a commercial break because I need to go quench my thirst. Now I'm wrestling because I already got that, but I need to go replace Mountain Dew. Hi, JJ. Most anticipated match, most anticipated outcome you all hope to see, not predicting. Go ahead, then your thoughts real quick, and then I will shift us to our commercial break.
I'm going to surprise everybody again.
Do tell.
The match I'm most looking forward to is Maya World and Mercedes.
Wow.
Are you sick?
No.
Okay. Just making sure. Just making sure.
No. Ash is in enough spaces with me that she knows.
Okay, that's fair.
She knows as well as y'all do how much I detest Mercedes.
Oh, yeah.
So here's my thing here, and I won't bring the Emmanuel card up again, but just know this is kind of an Emmanuel card scenario.
Then I'm going to do this for you while you talk more about it, because please.
Mercedes has lost every championship except one.
That's right.
The Owen Hart belt. Maya World, to your point, Noah, has been on this Cinderella run going through this tournament. She just defeated her mentor tonight.
Yes, and I couldn't fucking believe it.
Neither could I. Like, all I saw were the highlights, and I was in tears.
I was shocked.
All I saw was the highlights, and I was in tears. When you think about what this young lady has gone through the last month or so, with her brother passing away, trying to start a GoFundMe to raise money for funeral expenses, the payout that she's going to get just for being on this pay-per-view should be enough to take care of those costs for her and her family.
Without a doubt.
But what if she wins? What if she actually beats Mercedes and goes to All In? Then, okay, and I already had some of this conversation with people today. Ash was in a space that I was in. She knows kind of what I'm talking about here. And I had to leave the space because it turned into basically one person hogging the show, and I just couldn't deal with it.
Oh, I hate
that. But I understand the whole desire, you need star power on a card like All In. And Mercedes is star power. She's going to sell tickets. Maya World isn't going to sell tickets like that.
She's still
hold on, Noah. Hold on. Let me cook here. Let me cook.
All right, chef.
I feel like there's going to be enough on the card that'll make up for Maya World taking that spot from Mercedes. Okay. Mercedes then loses the Owen, loses her final championship belt.
Mm-hmm.
She is now back at 0. She's back at square one, essentially. Maya World is now in we won't call it main event, but a highly featured match at AEW's version of WrestleMania. In arguably one of the biggest arenas in the world. One of the most notable arenas in the world. Like, when you think about notable arenas, you think of like Madison Square Garden. You think about Wembley Stadium. Like,
Tokyo Dome.
These are Kurigan Hall in Tokyo. Like, you think about these major venues. She is on that stage. Now, do I expect her to defeat Thekla there? No. But if she can defeat Mercedes here and just completely knock Mercedes down to 0, nobody thought she had a real chance in hell knocking Athena out. Everybody thought it was going to be Athena and Mercedes making up for the first round last year.
Exactly.
But If Maya can knock Mercedes off, we've got a huge star-making moment here. So that is the one I am most looking forward to, and that is why I'm looking forward to it. Now, again, I fully expect Mercedes to win because it sounds like it would be the right thing. You know, it's like betting on Roman Reigns during his 1,300-plus day run.
You're not wrong.
Until he loses, you kind of don't bet on Mercedes in a big match situation. But what if this is WrestleMania 41? What if this is where Maya World finishes her story by toppling the CEO and she loses her final belt?
I'm still torn with both these matches because on that side of things, you also got to consider, in typical wrestling fashion, what do? Heel versus face. Who's the heel? Who's the face? Who's the heel? Who's the face? And Starlight Kid and Mercedes Moné have never faced each other. And it's just one of those things right now where if Myra does win, then yeah, it makes sense for, of course, Thekla, of course. The beauty of this, just going back and forth with these graphics, because I fucking love this so much. So much what if, cause, and effect, and any of these 4 combination matches with these 4 incredible female talents, I'm not going to be upset with come all in Wembley. And hell, it can still change between here and then because we got Redemption and Beach Break and Grand Slam. There's so much to still write into All In. It's amazing. And it all starts at Forbidden Door.
And let's not forget, the next pay-per-view is, in fact, Redemption.
Yes!
It would be the beginning of Mercedes's redemption after losing all of her titles.
I mean, we saw what happened when she got kicked and she said she was going to come back for more than just championships. I mean,
and especially after the way that she was stomping on Maya after the match.
Yeah, the Phenom laughing. It's like you're like literally trying to foretell literally the beautiful story of triumph out of tragedy. If I was a freaking, best-selling author, this book is something that I would write if I wanted to freaking write something. This is just so damn good. Everything about this is a gift to professional wrestling as a wrestling fan.
And you keep bringing the Thekla match up too, so go ahead and throw that graphic up real quick because you're talking about the pairing of any of these 4 women up.
Yeah, and the Toxic Spider, who of course is playing Depth to Stardom.
There was a little conversation in the same space about Starlight Kid actually dethroning Thekla.
It could happen. It could fucking happen.
Here's my question, though.
Go for it.
Okay, because it's something that a lot of WWE, haters give the Fed. Are people going to have the same energy when Starlight Kid isn't there every single week? Are people going to have the same energy when she's not there defending the belt often, when she defends it like Roman Reigns or Brock Lesnar because she's doing stuff in Japan? Are people going to be having the same energy that she's a transitional champion holding the belt just to hand it over to Mercedes in 2 months?
You're asking for a lot of continuity, bro.
I'm just saying, I'm asking for the same energy to be shown. And Ash knows as well as I do from the spaces she's in, it's not going to be there.
Hell no. Even I know
People
that.
are not going to be given that same energy.
No. And I also want to point out, Stardom, much like New Japan, has their premier round robin tournament. There are 3 key tournaments I care about every year. Continental Classic, G1 Climax. Stay tuned, folks, for Battle Bracket Breakdown. And, of course, Open Day coverage. And, of course, Stardom's 5-star Grand Prix. Guess who's in it? Starlight Kid. Guess when it starts? July 18th. Between the season of All In and literally prior to Redemption. The bottom line, inconsistency and fickle nature is the professional wrestling community. I'm fucking sick and tired of calling this shit IWC, especially when I'm barely on the internet, it seems. Much like John Moxley. People get the fuck off X if you ain't going to say anything smart or do anything wise with it. With all due respect, not a TED Talk, just being a comment. The bottom line, though, is this. What you get, as long as it leads to something better for somebody on that company's roster. That's the end game. That's all that matters in the end. And All In is supposed to be the encompass of that into the epilogue that is the fall season. We need to see something give across both the world championships in somewhere capacity for All In to be a success with somebody in All Elite Wrestling. Isn't this obvious as well as Mercedes Monet? I don't know, and I don't want to assume so. And the beauty that I don't want to do that is why I'm invested, because it doesn't seem as cut as dry as that. And those 4 women we keep talking about are an encompassing example of that. And if that's not enough for you to try and bring a different outlook or a similar outlook to the industry, then clearly you are flawed as a fan of professional wrestling. Thank you. That being said, thank you, JJ. Love you, brother. And that being said, I'm just going to say one more time before we go to commercial break. Let's fucking go! Go! I can't wait to call this fucking show. Injected in my veins. Freaking testosterone running through me like a horse.
Is it adrenaline in your soul?
Well, I have
something Cody Rhodes.
Well, I have some control, but the other stuff is a whole different thought. That being said, Ash.
What's the matter, Ash?
Oh, no. There it is. I was waiting.
Boo that man. Boo! Fuck Cody Rhodes, put the belt back on Punk.
Wow, that's a hot take. That being said, again, folks, the hype is real for anybody that's a fan of the business, then, now, forever, in more options to purvey your interest or more for you to try and investigate and see what you can invest in. So whether or not you watch 1, 2, 3, 4, everything in between across this incredible hype week of professional wrestling, we hope you follow along with us in the Survivor Studios with all the predictings and all the coverings, because one way or another, we are covering all 4 shows for you this upcoming weekend. Stay tuned for it all, and it culminates with this at the Forbidden Door, where we find out through the Owens who will be going all in. With that being said, as we went all in on 4 of these shows, and thank you all so far for tuning in to this first half, we will now segue into a commercial break, bringing you forward towards what else you have in store of a taste to wait and see and watch and hear us call with play-by-play at the Survivor Studios. And after this commercial break, we got a different impact we're going to bring forward to you with another topic or 2. So stay tuned.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And that's all it's here at the Simple Apple Studios. As you see by that trailer, here we truly encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and react to all the wrestling. And welcome back in here once again to the Simple Apple Studios and the Shenanigans. I have been your co-host moderator for this evening's festivities, Noel Foster, as I now tag in the regular MC, the OG, JJ Williams, to take things forward in whatever way he sees fit. So, JJ, what's on your mind tonight?
Well, thank you, sir. Awesome job as always. You know, I'm sure you guys noticed the intro, how both me and him kind of take turns introducing everybody. I did that on purpose because he's not as much a panelist anymore as he is a second host, so needed to give him that little bit of RESPECT, non-copyright in the intro there.
Shout out to the queen herself. God rest her soul. And thank you, Andrea. You're also very lovely.
Yeah, shout out to Nick's wife, which I'm assuming is Nick in there doing it. I love all the wrestling. Fuck Nick. That sounds like a Nick thing to say.
Yeah, about the same.
So now we know that Nick's wife is named Andrea. So because I never knew that before, it was always just Nick's wife.
Accidentally doxing his wife.
I hope that he's got rights to that. Otherwise, he's going to be sleeping on the couch tonight and for days to come.
Well, I have a feeling he's going to be sleeping on the couch anyways because he helped Walter with the first match of the GCW watch along while at his, I think, stepfather or father-in-law, somebody's like 70th birthday party today.
Oh.
And I could hear her in the back. Are you on the phone? So he's probably sleeping on the couch tonight anyways. Especially since he never remembers her IG to plug. Feeling got booked, by the way.
Mental note, make a graphic. Still have to make the Burger King type graphic for Nick in conjunction with her name and stuff on the bun.
But,
anyway, continue.
I wanted to talk a little bit about Forbidden Door.
Oh.
This is a conversation. Ash may be new to it, at least as far as our conversation goes. It's something she's probably heard a couple times in the spaces. But it's something we seem to discuss almost every year around this time. And has the Forbidden Door concept worn out its welcome?
That trope.
I know it's something we talk about, again, almost every year around this time. But it seems like with every passing year, it gets worse and worse and worse. And prior to this evening, there were only 2 matches announced that really had Forbidden Door participants to it. You had Zack Sabre Jr., you had Starlight Kid.
Yes.
Then tonight they made the other matches. So now you've got 4 out of 9 matches. Still not even half the card.
Yes.
But when Tony Khan allows Stardom, New Japan, CMLL talent to appear on a consistent basis on his TV program, does Forbidden Door really need to be a thing? Like Mystico wrestled at Revolution. You know what I mean? It's like we had CMLL, granted, it was announced he's all elite, dual contracted, whatever. CMLL talent was wrestling on the pay-per-view in March. Why is Forbidden Door so special anymore? It's just one of those things that I feel needs to be discussed. And Ash, I'm going to go to you first since I know you're kind of the newest voice in this conversation. Again, I'm sure you've heard it, maybe participated a little bit in the spaces. But what are your thoughts on this? And it's like, because for me, and this even goes back to the first Forbidden Door, I remember saying, and this is when I was first kind of getting back into wrestling. Because the first Forbidden Door was what, 4 years ago? 5 years ago?
Yeah, I think it was like 2000. It was
2021 or 22?
Yeah, it was 2022 because I remember because.
Okay. So I had been back in for like a year, not to cut you off, and I remember looking at things like people on the New Japan roster are people on the AEW roster. How is this so forbidden? And it just seems like they added a CMLL, they added Stardom, and all that's great, but I don't feel like the original intent is there anymore. Considering these rosters are able to come anytime. Go ahead, Ash.
So the first Forbidden Door I remember was being in 2022.
Correct.
Because I was watching it. I think I was watching it with a friend of mine, and I noticed. And this was when I was starting to get back into pro wrestling again because during COVID, I stopped watching it. I stopped watching everything. I stopped watching WWE. I stopped watching NXT. And I stopped watching New Japan. And it wasn't until like 2021 that I started watching Dynamite weekly after Double or Nothing. So when Forbidden Door came around, it got me back into New Japan because it's like, oh, hey, I remember you. I remember you. I remember you. All right, I'm going to go watch the G1 Climax again. Hell yeah, let's go. And then, because the idea of Forbidden Door is, hey, what if this AEW wrestler wrestled this New Japan wrestler, this big name New Japan wrestler? And we still get that. But the sad part is that all the big names from New Japan have crossed over to AEW, which I don't fault them there because Okada, Jay White,
Keep going.
Ospreay. I think there's a one I'm missing, but they've done everything they could in New Japan. So they felt like to venture onwards to elsewhere. And this is not the fault of AEW, but also New Japan has heavy blame because they are not the best at building up potential main eventers for when their big names that they've like cycled around and relied on leave. So now they have that big gap. And because of that, the AEW people, like the AEW fans who don't watch New Japan, aren't familiar with some of the New Japan names unless they've already had featured on AEW or they've been featured on the American shows. And not every New Japan wrestler is featured on the American shows, especially for New Japan Strong. So there's kind of that disconnect. And because of the disconnect, I think we should hold off on the Forbidden Door. Like, I don't say like close it permanently, but make it like every 2 years or so until New Japan has built up enough people so that people like, oh, hey, I know that person. That'd be so cool if they wrestled this person who's not dual contracted. Because you also got to take into consideration. Because I was about to ask, do we count Takeshita as a New Japan wrestler or is he an AEW wrestler?
Triple contracted, primarily home in AEW. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I was going to say, personally, at this point, I count him as AEW because that's his primary home.
Yeah.
He may be multi-contracted, but his primary base where you see him most consistently now is AEW.
I'm going to load each Forbidden Door card just so I can further elaborate here and we can further look into this. Continue.
Because the whole basis of Forbidden Door was, what if this AEW wrestler wrestled this New Japan wrestler who they've never wrestled before, or it's been so long since they last wrestled each other. And we've kind of strayed away from that concept because especially last year when it was very AEW heavy. So I understand why they have to put some CMML people and Stardom people. And it's because not only did they want to utilize all their partnerships, but because of the lack of star power that New Japan has. To no fault of AEW. That's just the shoddy booking of New Japan and how they do stuff over there, which is, sometimes I don't even know what goes on sometimes. And it's like, as much as I like New Japan, I question their booking because their mainstays, all the top players, they're not going to be there for long. So you got to build up people to eventually take their place for when they do retire or venture on elsewhere. So, the Forbidden Door concept, it needs to be closed, not permanently, but I'd say wait about like 3-5 years before we decide to reopen it again.
Okay, so you kind of are where I'm at because, and Noah, you can attest to this. I don't remember if Walter was here last time we had this conversation, but I know Noah was.
Oh, yeah.
But I had that same kind of theory that maybe it should be an every 2 to 3 year type of thing.
Yeah, that's what you refer to.
Year on, year off type of thing, because give it some time. Again, this was my feelings about this prior to matches being announced tonight. I felt like the Global Wars was more Forbidden Door than Forbidden Door card was looking.
Oh, I agree.
you know, and that was just Global Wars.
That was so much fun.
Like, there's a small part of me, and we can get to this a little bit more when we get to the main event topic. There's a small part of me that wants to see Thekla retain over Starlight Kid. The lights go out, and Tessa Blanchard just fucking drops her in the center of the ring, so that at Grand Slam we can get Tessa versus Thekla.
Whoa!
Yeah, that's a really good shout. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when she said she chose Mexico. That's a really good shout, actually.
And CMLL are already partnered with AEW.
That's right.
Her fiance has appeared on TV before as Fenge.
Yep.
So, like, dude, and then we just go from Thekla having had a Stardom challenger to a CMLL challenger going into Grand Slam in August.
Yeah, and in case you're all wondering, that is your Global Wars card, by the way. I want you to take a look at this real quick, and I want you to look at this. You have Siri from Stardom. You have freaking Takumi Iroha from the Marvelous promotion in Japan. You have CMLL, where they did an actual match, by the way, from CMLL for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships. That was a coup de call, by the way, because, again, I don't speak Espanol, so that was a fun thing, as JJ was probably just listening to it and hearing me in the green room. Thank you, by the way, as always. Arigato. And, again, you got freaking... Yeah, I'm sure it was. But Rocker Romero, who's been, like, the mesh behind this whole open door, forbidden door companies playing along concept. Micah from Stardom, and she wants to fight more, by the way. Yes, please. This was very fun and a very dynamic interpromotional card. And it was only 8 matches. It really seems like Global Wars is more Forbidden Door wherever they do it at. And think about the Global Wars that we've had. We've had United Kingdom with United Kingdom talent, including Michael Oku. We've had Australia with your boy, the Sniper of the Skies, and Australian standout, Robbie Eagles. We've had Mexico. I can't even tell you half the damn names before Persephone was all lead included. We're also down there. And Cincinnati, which is America, had fucking Japanese wrestlers.
Yeah, it's like looking at this, and I could be wrong because the images are so small in the layout you have, but I feel like the international and TV title matches were the only ones that were pretty much made up of AEW ROH talent. Every single other match of that 6 had at least one, you know, Forbidden Door-esque competitor in it.
Viva Van, I think, is kind of all lead. I forget whether or not she got a graphic, but
that's fair. I think she's on a tier deal.
Yeah. God bless her, by the way. Of course, the student out of the WWE Academy, and Leslie Lane, of course, she's been involved in OH. That was the first thing they tagged together. But to your point, Thunder Rosa Mera, heavy name known out of CMLL. So you're not wrong. Now, let's go down the timeline before you speak any further or pass the mic off to Walter. And let's look at each Forbidden Door and think about how it's morphed into more of a welcoming season. Because, again, you're right. The Stardom, the CMLL, the New Japan names, it's not like they're year-round, but there are the familiar names that are yearly around at this stage or at this time. Take a look.
Well, really quickly, I'm not saying that they're year-round, but I just feel like, and it doesn't happen every week, obviously, but I feel like you can tune in to, let's say, a random collision in the middle of September, and you could see Mystico. You could see Mascara Dorada. You know, you could see you could see Zack Sabre Jr.
Well,
you know, maybe Bad Dude Tito or Mikey Nichols, you know, instead. But like you could tune
Bad Dude Tito give you Mikey Nichols, not so much.
Okay,
sorry to cut you off there.
But you're getting my point here. The names names are irrelevant at the end of the day, but you could tune in to a random collision in the middle of September and you catch some random talent from New Japan, CMLL, Stardom on the card. Like, it's not like it's just limited to Forbidden Door season when the TV sucks during that build-up because all storylines get put on hold. And you kind of need to bring these talents in to give some sort of reason as to why these people are feuding and fighting. build up some kind of interest. Like if it was just the 3 or 4 weeks leading up to Forbidden Door, I could understand it. But it's the fact that you could tune into a random Dynamite or a Collision in September, a random Dynamite in January, a random Collision in March, maybe back when they were doing Battle of the Belts, some random Battle of the Belts, and you could see one of these people. That's the point that I'm making. The name is irrelevant.
Okay, so you're basically looking at the company exposure being more than just one time a year, even if it's like raindrops throughout the rest of the year. And let's call it what it is. It's kind of like raindrops. But at the end of the day, it's one of those things with AEW. Yeah, they showcase people in their partnerships. And more frequently, it's those people that they are bound to make all elite. Look at what happened this year with Persephone, Mascara Dorada, Mystical. Names aside, they're all CMLL. And most of those people are actually dual contracted. There's a reason why Persephone is the CMLL Women's World Champion, works out of Ring of Honor, and was involved in this year's she was involved in this year's Owen. And she's involved now to fight for the TBS Championship in Survival of the Fittest. The commonality, though, with AEW and the Forbidden Door concept is this. The heaviest focus of every promotion under Tony Khan's umbrella is during this season. And I feel like as long as the primary storm is during a season versus, okay, you get rainfall if you're in the Midwest, you get rainfall in the middle of January, and you also get it in September, you get it in June on a summer shower, you get it in fracking November. I'm not that bothered by it, honestly, because it's not like it perpetually affects major stuff. But it could lead to some tiny stuff. And as I look at these Forbidden Doors from the past, whether or not they were in Canada, whether or not they were in America, the UK, whether or not it was just New Japan, you trickle in Stardom, or now you have Stardom, CMLL, and New Japan. There has been, at least at this stage, that subtle evolution of, we're not looking at names of people, we're looking at company exposure. And this stage should be that time where you have that company's exposure. When you look at the first Forbidden Door, it was strictly freaking New Japan and AEW, period. It literally was only presented by them. When you look at the following Forbidden Door, there was at least a little bit more of an encompassing thought talking about freaking Stardom, even though they weren't part of the conversation. And again, you still had freaking New Japan and AEW. As we went down the years, okay, now you actually had a little bit more. You had CMLL. I mean, for the longest time, I was waiting for Hechicero to be freaking all elite, and then it finally happened. When I think the Forbidden Door, at least in concept, showcased everybody, was honestly in London. I mean, again, Bozilla, Stardom, Zack Sabre Jr., Nigel McGuinness. Enough said. It felt like to me that over the years, at least Forbidden Door has exposed those company names more. And this year, they're really trying to put that name out there, I feel, for Stardom with this continued tension of Thekla and Taro Okada. So at least during this season, I can appreciate it. But again, I understand your point. At the end of the day, though, as long as it's not every week, I'm okay with it being a drop, especially if it's a collision, where, to your point, nobody really watches it. I accept that. I watch it, though, because I'm fine with exhibitions. And also, if it's just about an exhibition and not messing with a championship, I'm not bothered by it. But I do understand your point. But I need more Marvelous in Ring of Honor. I'm just going to say that for the record. And High-End wants more Marvelous in Ring of Honor, too. Yes, please.
So I know I'm the host, but would you mind reading this comment from Andrea real quick?
Nick told me to say, I'm not saying it. Nope, I'm not saying it. Nice try. I'm not saying it. What do you think I am?
What was that, Walter?
Joe Hendry.
Minus 10 minutes.
Oh, hush. You're not minusing 10 minutes.
Watch me. You got 9 minutes and 40 seconds, so you better start talking like an auctioneer. I'm not fooling with you. I warned you all.
You like our foolishness. Walter, go ahead. You're the only one left on this one.
It wasn't our fault that somebody did it in the comment. All I did was read a comment.
You ever heard of ignoring the comment?
Look, when was the last time you saw Andrea comment on us, okay?
Andrea, if it was you, I'll make the exception, but I need freaking proof. If it's Nick typing in your case, Nick, identity theft still is a crime in Canada.
Yeah, Forbidden Door, I feel like it should have been named something else. I feel like as a concept, it's not what in name it should be, because I feel like Forbidden Door would be like if a bunch of GCW non-contracted to AEW wrestlers invaded and got to fight on a pay-per-view on live on AEW. If some WWE talent came over, I feel like Forbidden Door is like coalition and working together with different organizations, which most likely because of insurance and everything else, I don't think any companies would really do that.
Hell no.
Forbidden Door was 2000.
Uh-oh.
Walter froze. Danhausen must have cursed him.
Technical difficulties. Well, that being said,
the internet wasn't as big. My dog stepped on the wire and knocked out because I have the wire plugged in manually to get better internet.
Here we are talking about the Forbidden Door. Have you heard of a closed door?
Hey man, no, the door is closed. The wire just sticks all the way out. It was Tony Khan, damn it. He didn't like what I was saying.
But you need a short wire, but this is not an IT session.
Wonder what has been done, Steven.
The router is so far that I have two wires plugged in through a connector. But that's
Lord.
why, yeah. But you know, the internet wasn't as popular. If you didn't watch the Raw where Vince said he bought WCW, and you just suddenly saw these WCW wrestlers pop up in WWE, that's a Forbidden Door. So maybe this concept they could have named it something else. Maybe New Japan versus AEW. Maybe like the video game NWO versus the World. You could have did AEW versus the World or something and brought it. And that way you could have got video game nerds tuning in too. So I feel like the name itself is the issue, because the concept is dead. It's just double contracted people.
There it is.
So, yeah. It's not really forbidden.
It's a revolving door is what it is, but again, hindsight is 20/20 when it comes to the name of a pay-per-view 9 out of 12 times a year. So, yeah, it is what it is.
Fair enough, and that's going to wrap up that topic. We'll take another quick commercial break to run our trailer. Come back, begin the main event topic. We'll let Noah go first since his countdown is almost done. We'll be right back.
And now for a taste of things to come.
And as that trailer truly encompasses here at the Cinema Studios, we encompass, embrace, celebrate, engage, pontificate, analyze, criticize, and react to the wrestling. And welcome back in here to the set of Shenanigans. As Jade exceeds the floor. Wait a minute, time out here. And Dynamite, dude. This Dynamite this Wednesday, we got our Owens finals. I don't need to cover it. It's just a regular Dynamite. It's not even a 3-hour special.
Well, we originally had it in there because we didn't know when everything was going to happen as far as the Owen went. But and you said you're going to be gone on Wednesday. You've got priorities.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean Walter's not available. But with the card that they've announced, I'm sure Ash, if she's not working Wednesday, would love to do commentary for some of those matches.
Big ups to the boys. Make some noise for the boys. TMDK for life.
Yep.
So, like, why not do it if we can? I mean, hell, if Ash isn't available, I'm sure Nick will be. We could get Walter and Nick on it.
All right, go for it, brubs. I'd love to hear the
I mean, it is the go home, like.
Well, yeah, but you know, we usually don't do TV go homes unless it's like the weird 3-hour special to specials. But
we don't. But again, it's something that we've been announcing we were going to do for a minute because we thought that the Owen might still be going on.
Right.
Like realistically, they could have done the semifinal Athena Maya World match on Dynamite instead of Collision.
Yeah, that's what I was anticipating actually. So
so
it's in Texas. Both women are bred in their careers in Texas, so it actually did make sense in hindsight.
Yeah.
But all right, regardless, okay, I respect the decision. Whoever calls that fun, and if my passions. So, my priorities somehow change where I could actually be part of my passion, I will let you all know in a timely, professional manner, unlike some people. Not saying names, they're actually outside this family, damn it. And by family, I mean this family and my actual family. I'll see if I can join. Otherwise, hell, I'm fine with taking a breather for a night. You all have a great call. And again, see if it's to be dancing. Again, you all know the dates. Monday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Each day, there'll be all the predictions for all 4 shows. But that being said, as we now look towards the impact that is ahead, what impact is left? That is the question. As we go back to JJ, and I did see in the chat, if it was her, fine. Y'all got freaking 15 minutes left. JJ, go ahead. Let's do this.
So,
Jesus,
this is something that really needs to be talked about. You know, we've mentioned bits and pieces as people have left, but with the news that came out this past week about Tessa Blanchard, about Tommy Dreamer, you know, there has been a serious mass exodus of TNA since it reverted from Impact back to TNA in 2024. All of those people in that picture and more have left the company, whether they were terminated, whether their contract expired and they just chose not to renew, or whether they asked for their release and were granted it. How they left the company is really irrelevant at the end of the day. All of those people and more have now left the company.
Yes.
And it begs the question, what is there left for TNA? You know, maybe it was just hopeful thinking. But when they announced this deal on AMC, I thought they were going to do, in a sense, what Tony has started doing. And that's snatching up people from the indies that you could probably tie down to a contract for not a whole lot of money. You know, because it's more than what they'd be making on the indies, but it's not going to be WWE, AEW type of money. They only have to work once or twice a month, TV tapings and pay-per-views. You know, so they can still take other bookings outside of that, but kind of like how Tony has wrangled a Maya World, like he's wrangled a Busta in the Brain, how he's wrangled a Viva Van. I thought TNA was going to go that route. But instead, all these people have left. Their roster is thinner than a wheat bin. And Santana is probably going to be leaving come the end of the year when his contract expires.
Oh boy.
Leon Slater is probably going to be leaving at the end of this year when his contract expires. That's probably why he lost the title to Cedric Alexander. You know, the Hardys are Hall of Fame bound, if we're being honest. It's just a matter of when does their contract expire. They seem to really like what they're doing in TNA. If we're being honest, TNA has been the best place for Matt Hart. Because that's where the broken gimmick was born.
Yeah.
But, like, I'm worried. And I shouldn't be, because TNA has withstood a lot of shit. To the point where, you know, people say that when there's the nuclear holocaust, cockroaches, Twinkies, and TNA are still going to exist. Because every time you thought it was going to die, it survived. Like a Gloria Gaynor disco song. They will survive. So knowing that time is ticking, knowing that it is the final countdown for Noah Foster, diddle-doo, diddle-doo-doo-doo,
You're not wrong.
and knowing that out of everybody on this panel, he has been the most tried and true TNA supporter up until recently when my NXT kind of invaded it. I'm going to go to him first. That way he can get his thoughts out and say his adieus.
I just want to look at that real quick and just take it in, if you don't mind.
No worries. And yes, I put all the women on one side on purpose.
That's the side I'm looking at the most. Let's see. Tag team. Was a tag team. Champion. Champion. Could have been champion. Definitely should have been champion. Was a tag team. Former leading knockout. Could have been the champion. Could have been the leader again. Okay.
Former world heavyweight champion.
You want to go there? Yeah, absolutely. All right, I'm not gonna boil over like John Oliver tonight and freaking turn this into a rant or a TED talk. It's just sad, really, because yeah, I've seen the best and the worst. Freaking Don Callis, SARS the Virus, once ran TNA back in the early days when they booted Watts out as director of authority under dubious means with that Goldilocks gold digger. Freaking Double J Jeff Jarrett, why you may figure Hill Hostage was the only guy there, basically running the ship and also trying to freaking keep building it. Freaking Jim Cornette, freaking Eric Bishop, Hulk Hogan, God help. Freaking 16 different channels where you had more of a freaking pissant movie or freaking fishing expedition registered more on the Richter scale of television than TNA Wrestling was when they brought back the six-sided ring for a short stint. Dixie World, MVP, fracking Pandemic, where it felt like the rejuvenation, which borfed the era of the Virtuosa, and Jordan Grace, Deanna Purrazzo restored the Knockouts division, and the Tad Towers were actually in a Tad division. That's some crazy shit. And then you have this Timu Tony Khan, probably weaker than him guy running this. That's a movie guy, doesn't know jack shit about the wrestling business, removing the wrestling executives, it seems, from those positions that brought TNA back to life in the first place when TNA was missed for its identity, when the total nonstop action was still there, leaving its impact in wrestling. And now I got this. I really don't know what to expect. Like I said, I think the writing's on the wall for what I kept on saying, what would happen with this freaking AMC deal, this partnership, and the one-sidedness it felt like, where the alternative wrestling business is becoming nothing more but a similarity to sports entertainment and a breeding ground for future evolved stars in WWE, if not in NXT. Hello, Joe Hendry. But at least Joe Hendry has the entertainment value, so I guess they're doing stuff with him. Wait, what's he doing right now?
He's injured.
Never mind. Then again, that's the nature of the business, so I'm not going to blame the Fed on that. Plus, they barely have the man fucking wrestle, so it's like, whatever. It's sad. I don't know what to expect with TNA. I don't know if they can still have that same impact or even a lasting impact. I pray that they do, especially when you got faithful returns and faithful strongholds still trying to do some with this business, like Trey Miguel and like Allie and Rosemary, the last senior knockout, in my time ad, who's been there since 2017. It's just one of those things right now where I'm at a real feeling of uncertainty and disinterest in what is the left remnants of a former greater days that was TNA. And I really don't know after this. Okay, you announced Lethal Lockdown. What do you got after that? Bound for Glory. Okay, are you going to have something by the end of the year? Or are we not going to see you again till Genesis? Are we just going to the once per review a quarter and not doing plus specials to further work or elevate your roster? And then you sign these young folks in like Ricky Sosa, who is facing Eric Young, who's the last living reincarnation of the old TNA as we know it. I just don't know anymore. Like, seriously. I really hope TNA still can be the non-stop action that I know it can be. And there certainly are spades of it. We encompassingly talked about it during our rundown of Slammiversary, but I'm very, very, very close. And it's going to be the proverbial straw that breaks the camel's back based on what I see come from Slammiversary. Not in results, but in aftermath foretelling that I may say before the end of this year, not my TNA. Because again, this card, you have the X Division still, a foundation of TNA. You haven't fucked that yet or destroyed it. The Knockouts title could be restored. Mike Santana is trying to raise the prestige of the TNA World Championship. And you have no tag division for Demon X Bunny. There's literally 2 matches I truly care about, 2 more I'm optimistic in, and the rest is filler. I don't say that about TNA in its heyday. Walter and I used to call TNA as the show to see, sometimes robbing AEW pay-per-views. And they can't even come close. This is the same day as Forbidden Door. I'm not going to do apples to oranges, but the bottom line is, do you still have an impact left in you, TNA, to remind us why this is the place to be, why you are the turn to professional wrestling? Prove it to me. Because the fact that you have this incredible roster to try and build off of in your restored identity, and you wasted it, let it go, lost it. What does that say for TNA wrestling? And a guy that doesn't know jack shit about wrestling. Friendly business friend or not, he's not my friend. I don't know the damn goober. Seriously, he's a guy that works on movies. That's the reason why it's on AMC. Prove to me, TNA, that you still can be the impact I know you are meant to be. Otherwise, nice knowing you. Go work for WWE. This is sickening. I'm annoyed. I'm pissed. I'm aggravated. I'm disgruntled. I'm disinterested. And above all else, there's still, much like a fucking condom to an STD, 1% in me still stays TNA faithful to believe that this will still be what I encompass to love and know about TNA wrestling. But after next Sunday, I'm not holding my breath much longer. To freaking defibrillate me and make me believe again. Seriously. And with that being said, I pretty much have exhausted my time, so Now that I've had the happiest of highs and the lows of lows, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, it was the happiest of days, it was the darkest of days. I'm now going to just position this thing all night. JJ, keep steering the conversation. Ash, stay batty. To Miss Ferrantes, don't let Nick drive you to insanity. To Nick, don't be an idiot, although I know you already are. To Walter, stay reliable. To all of you and your families, stay faithful, not only to wrestling, but to each other and respect one another. And I will see you guys on Slip Addicting Tuesday night for NXT. Not NXT! But that being said, this still better be my TNA by the end of the year, or very well next year, you won't see me calling TNA wrestling. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Thank you very much, Noah. All right. There he goes. Nick, can you hear us?
Hello? Is it me you're looking for?
Yeah, except you were supposed to be here 2 hours ago, fucker.
Blame my wife. It's her fault. Screw you. It's your fault. Because she wanted to have family time. Oh, let's go have family time.
Well,
wait, can you...
well, since you just joined us, Nick, we'll go ahead and go to you next. Especially since we know you in that Canadian phone connection. What are your thoughts on this mass exodus?
Oh, max exodus. It gives me... there's a couple things with this max exodus. It gives me questions in regards to the AMC deal and, like, are they making money off of this AMC deal? Like, you just signed a new TV contract and you're releasing talent the way you are, or signing people. So, I mean, it's really odd and strange. And then with the releases as well, you kind of ask yourself, well, they're doing all these releases and streamlining everything. Are they getting ready for a sale? Like, usually when, you really take something down to the nuts and bolts and the studs, you're preparing for a sale, right? So, like, is that what they're doing? But the talent that are just leaving in droves is weird to me. Like, it's... And yeah, they've re-signed Trey Miguel. Great. They re-signed the Bunny. Or they signed the Bunny. Cool. So what's up with Steve Macklin? Like, why did he ask for his release? Why did Mila Grace ask for her release? And why are you resigning? Why didn't you resign teams like the Motor City Machine Guns? I just feel like TNA is a shell of its former self. It's going to be interesting because I actually, in a couple weeks, I might actually go to the TNA tapings in Brampton. It's not far from me, so everything's far from us. But yeah, so I don't know. I just, the questions are just asked. It's pretty simple. Like, what are they doing over there? Like, are they not spending their money wisely? Are they not spending their money at all? If I'm AMC, am I at, like, did I waste my money on, like, if I'm AFC and I'm looking at all of this and the product is not getting better, like, I'm starting to have questions of, did I spend my money wisely? Right?
See, and I'm probably the worst person to talk about this because I haven't really watched any weekly episodic wrestling product in a while because my work schedule has just been what it is. But I haven't heard anything about the TNA weekly product being bad. Walter was just there for 2 nights of tapings, and from what he said the matches were good. He had a blast. Like, you know, it doesn't lead one to believe that the weekly product is garbage. It's just a matter of what's happening with the talent. See here, Datilla's in the, really quickly, Datilla's in the chat here. She's another big TNA supporter. She says, Myla Grace is understandable. She and Harley Hudson weren't booked properly, and they even made a big deal about her signing. You would think that Harley and Myla would have come in and immediately made an impact by winning the Knockouts tag titles. You know, that's a fair point. Go ahead, Nick. You were going to say?
No, I was just gonna say, yeah, like that. Those are good points. It's, you know, it. Not to say the product is bad on a week-to-week basis, because again, I don't watch the weekly product. I couldn't tell you. But I mean, they're not blowing the doors off either. I don't think.
Well, again, I try not to get into ratings numbers because that shouldn't be what matters.
No.
But their ratings on AMC are better than what they were on Access. So that's got to be a step in the right direction, right?
Well, I'm speaking more
Now,
of...
are they on par with Dynamite? No. But the last I heard, they were, I don't want to say not far, but, you know, a reasonable distance away from Collision. Collision consistently gets like 300 to 400,000. I think Impact was getting around like 175 to 225 last I heard. So that's really not horrible in the grand scheme of things, right? Like,
It's not, but I'm not speaking about rating. Like when I'm saying they're not blowing the doors off, I mean creatively. I'm not talking about the numbers, right? Like I haven't seen or heard anything.
well, in fairness, no company is blowing the doors off creatively.
No, I don't. That's very true.
You know, so again, let's not compare there, because it's not like WWE is in the midst of the bloodline, you know, from 4 years ago, which was driving huge ratings for Fox. Like, you know, and it's not like AEW is in the middle of the Punk debut run and that whole feud with MJF and Darby and everything. Like, no company right now is blowing the doors off creatively.
No.
So I don't think that's a fair criticism either.
Okay. Yeah, I hope hopefully they can figure it out and get what they need sorted.
Like it seems like TNA is at least willing to try things. You know, like that Righteous Garden match or whatever that Walter saw. You know, that was an abstract concept, right? You know, it's either going to work or it's going to fail. Will there be another Righteous Garden match? I guess we'll have to wait and see at some point. But it definitely was interesting. Probably about as interesting as the first match from the Hardy compound. Right?
No. Yeah, no, you're right. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully kind of they can figure it out. And I mean, if they do sell, hopefully, I mean, I've always had the tinfoil cap on and saying that it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when WWE purchases TNA. And I still truly believe that. So I mean, yeah, with the again with the roster moves that they are making, what are they adding in return, right? Like there's been a mass exodus, but what are they filling those holes with, or if they are filling them at all, right? So gotta kind of
That's
just see what they got. Like I don't know who's on the in the free agent list. People with their 90-day competes and whatnot.
Well, a lot of people are going to start coming up here towards the end of July.
Yeah.
The New Day is going to come up. The Motor City Machine Guns are going to come up. Joe Gacy, Dexter Loomis, all the Wyatts are going to come up. I really want to see Dexter Loomis go over there. If for no other reason, the fact that you could put Index back together.
Yep.
Maybe kind of replace that void that Mance and Steph DeLander left. Datilla again in the chat says she's opposed to WWE or AEW buying TNA. We don't need a monopoly. Wrestlers need different places to work. I'm not opposed to TNA being sold, though. Which then begs the question, who would have the money to buy it, if not Tony Khan or WWE TKO?
Yeah.
I had an interesting thought about that. But before I give that, Walter and Ash still need to give their thoughts. So we'll go to Ash next. Go ahead, Ash. Your thoughts on this mass exodus?
It's just very eye-opening and concerning about like what's going on backstage with management and the creative team that's causing these wrestlers to not renew their contracts and want to venture out elsewhere. That's the big issue, is like what's going on with management and the way how TNA is run, because I'm not faulting the wrestlers. I hear if they want to leave because they're trying to better themselves and they don't see a future in TNA, by all means leave. It's just what's going on behind the scenes. That's very concerning, because to have this amount of people leave within like, what is it, like a 6-month period since the AMC deal is very alarming. So something must be going backstage as they wait their business.
Just to cut you off, all those people haven't left in the last 6 months. It's been the last 2.5 years.
Okay.
All those people in that graphic have left since it reverted from Impact back to TNA.
Okay. The point still stands that there is something going on with management ever since the AMC deal.
I agree with you, but I'm just trying to say it's not that critical, because all those people didn't leave in 6 months. It's been 2.5 years.
Fair enough. But it is quite the alarming amount, though. It's just like it makes you question like what roster do they have? Because I said this multiple pitched this idea that the TNA might have to start pulling from the indies and doing like these contracts where like they can work TNA and also work the indies as well, like rebuild the partnership. TNA needs to rebuild their partnerships with the indie companies so that as a working environment, although it's kind of hard to when certain companies will be like, yeah, we're rivals, so we can't do that, which is like what happened with the whole Tessa Blanchard situation, where she chose to work CMLL. She chose CMLL over TNA because she couldn't wrestle in both, because TNA is partnered with WWE, who owns AAA, who's a rival company to CMLL, who's signed with AEW.
Oh.
So yeah. So the Tessa situation is different, but everyone else leaving, it has to just probably is a business aspect, and it just I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but there must be something going on behind the scenes that makes the wrestler say, yeah, this isn't it for me, I gotta go elsewhere. And what I'm trying to say is TNA needs a creative overhaul. They need to like get new management and a creative team and someone that knows how to run the business. Like well, I want to say proper, but has an idea of like how has a better idea of how to run a wrestling company. So that way they're not losing money, and they're also can afford a roster and like cycle through them without having it look super thin.
No, 100%. And Carlos Silva, I am available to become part of the creative team. Throwing that out there. People have said multiple times about my creative ideas. Just saying. I am available. Walter, my guy, out of everybody here, you're the most recent one to actually go to a TNA show.
I'm available too, by the way. But I kind of look at it from Ash's perspective as a business. When you have that many unhappy employees, it says something about management and the way they're running a company. For that many employees to be not happy or anything, then it's time you have to look at management and how things are run. Now, that being said, that's usual business. Wrestling business is its own entity. It's its own monster. It's way different than normal businesses. So you can't just look at it through just that filter. So I'm not sure what it is, but Noah said it when the WWE relationship was announced. Like, it's not long before it might be just a straight takeover and not really a coalition working together. So was that the first domino to fall? You said all these people left within the last two years. When did the relationship start with NXT?
Officially about a year ago.
About a year?
Around January of last year.
Okay. Masha's the only one. That was legal. That was a PR mess and legal issue. So that one I get. And then Tessa, the relationship with AEW over the relationship with WWE, that one I get. Those are the only two. Everything else, I don't get. Well, Steph wanted to be cleared to wrestle. She had an injury, doctors wouldn't clear, so she bet on herself, and look what she's doing on the indies. So sometimes it's the wrestler just needs to bet on themselves because she tried to do it through the system didn't work. And no, that's not a pun because of the system that's in TNA. But
I still don't trust the system.
I really don't know. I want to know what's what this comes out of. There's rumors that the parent company's kind of looking to sell for like $40-50 million or something, but it's just rumors, grain of salt, so we don't know. It'd be interesting, but usually when there's a mass exodus like that, it's right before a sale. We kind of saw WWE do the same thing right before they sold to TKO. They released a lot of people, including backstage. When it started being more than just talent, it started being all those backstage people. It was a little uh-oh, and then that TKO announcement happened. So we'll see. TNA could be making money off the app, and then I don't know what this deal with the channel is, but like Noah keeps saying, that's a channel that runs movies. Maybe they don't understand the wrestling business. I feel like the first era was letting Scott D'Amore go. If you wouldn't have let that man walk down, I don't think this many talent would be unhappy because he understood the business and he understood how to run it. So maybe if you gave him a higher position and let him run things backstage, even when he sold the company and everything, this many people wouldn't have been unhappy. But I don't work there, so I have no idea. But I mean, like you said, when everything's said and done, TNA just seems to be, I call it the little engine that could. They survive a lot more than this, so let's see if they survive. But I mean, that many unhappy talent worries me. And the more wrestling companies that are available, the more places these people have to work, including referees, cameramen, and everything like that. So I want them to have options because I hate seeing people lose their job. This business, it's all about marketing yourself, getting everywhere. The more options you have, the better off a wrestler is. So I don't want to see people lose their jobs. I don't want to see another company shut their doors because, like Ash said, it's one less place for anybody to work. When you get released from WWE, you wait your 90 days, you can go to TNA, you can go to AEW, or you can bet on yourself and do the indies like Matt did. So, I mean, it's a lot of people though. That is a big ass picture, and we don't know how much bigger it's gonna get. So, hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully they'll stop the bleeding. But this, for all we know, this could just be a business deal to get out of the red. People that understand business knows you want to be in the black. So maybe TNA is in the red, and they're just trying to get back into black, and that's why so many people left. But we'll see, because it's interesting because some are releases, some are people not re-signing, and some asked for the release. So we'll have to weigh in and see. But I don't want to make assumptions, and I just hope TNA I've enjoyed since it started, since like '05 I was watching it. So hopefully, or '06, whatever year it was. No, 2002 actually, because it was on those exclusive pay-per-views. But it's hard. It's hard to see. But I think most of these people, a big majority, have landed on their feet. The person who shall be not named, because I don't want to do the gimmick, he's in WWE. You got Steph DeLander killing it on the indies right now. We haven't seen Masha because she's dealing with the legal issues. But a lot of these people have landed on their feet. We'll see what Tessa does in CMLL. So, more power to them. Bet on yourself. Leave the company that's not making you happy. At the end of the day, be happy with what you do. You don't want to get stuck in a company. So, we'll end up seeing what happens.
So, the comment was made by Datilla about not wanting WWE or AEW to buy it. And, it begs the question, who could buy it that's not WWE or AEW? And I think it was Nick very quickly chimed out Scott D'Amore. Let's not forget, Scott D'Amore already offered $10 million to buy it back in the day and was told no. Now, at that point, we didn't know how much the parent company would want for it. And again, the rumor going around is that they want 40 to 50 million. That hasn't been substantiated by any reliable source. So I would rather not even treat that as any kind of potential fact until we get more on it. But in a hypothetical world, who's got that kind of money lying around? Willing to invest. And I was talking to somebody earlier today, and I said, I wonder if Paul Heyman has any desire to get back in the promoting business. Because with all the money he's made from WWE, he's probably got about that much lying around. But his weak point was always the business aspects. He excelled at creative, sucked when it came to the business. That's why ECW went belly up. Partner him and D'Amore together. Let D'Amore run the financial business side of things. Let Paul run the creative side of things. That was my big ooh as far as who could buy it. Because then you've got wrestling minds who are still relatively young enough that they're not your Michael Hayeses and your Vince McMahonses. Paul was always really good about keeping his finger on the pulse. And even when he was away from WWE, he got into all kinds of different little business ventures, podcasts and stuff. Before podcasting really became like something that took off in the world. And talent agencies and stuff. Like, he got involved in a bunch of stuff. I don't know, like, what would you guys think about that dynamic duo? And we'll kind of run this backwards. We'll start with you, Walter, then go to Ash, and then go to Nick. And I know that's your son. Billy Corgan already owns and runs NWA, and we won't even go into how the NWA is doing financially. Like, despite the fact that our girl La Princesa now has the Burke, that truly has become just a vanity project for Billy. It's I do this thing when I have downtime from being a rock star.
He has to do with the rock star thing.
Because when the Pumpkins go on tour, he always brings like Natalia Markova and some of the girls on stage to kind of like, be rocker chicks for him, to try to drum up publicity. And like anyone who's seen what Natalia Markova looks like can understand why Billy Corgan would trot her out on stage. Not to disrespect her, but she's a looker. She's definitely got that 80s hair metal video girl look to her. But go ahead, Walter. Your thoughts on Paul Heyman and Scott D'Amore potentially as a dynamic duo if that were to happen?
That's a good ass 1-2 punch, but is Paul Heyman willing to risk it if WWE be like, nah, you either stay in the position you're in, or if you're gonna go out on that adventure, we have to let you go. Is he gonna bet on himself like that? I feel like you're right. That'd be a hell of a 1-2 punch, though. Now I kind of want to see it, but that's a lot to bet on yourself. And I think it can work. Those two great minds put together, it would eventually work. So that's a good one to think about. I don't know who else would buy it. Like
Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Maybe. And Netflix can't purchase it because they got that relationship with WWE. Well, Paramount has the relationship with UFC and with TKO. So I don't think they would bid on it.
Bischoff and Hervey?
Oh, that's a good one. It'll be pretty interesting. When it's confirmed that they really want to sell, I want to see if a bidding war starts. But I'll be very interested because I feel like Hulu's part of Disney. So would Disney buy that? But Disney's connected with ESPN. Exactly. So that's WWE. So like that's the problem with monopolizing companies. You see, right now there's not that many options unless somebody comes out of the woodwork out of nowhere. It'll be interesting, but I think fucking Paul Heyman and Scott D'Amore will be a hell of a 1-2 punch, to be honest. I would love to see that.
Yeah, that could work. And plus, with the if Scott D'Amore buys TNA and they have the creative mind of Paul Heyman, it helps with the roster problem that they have because TNA, if with Scott D'Amore owning TNA, him and MLP, that's a big enough roster right there.
See, I know a lot of the people that left early on, we're talking because it went from Impact to TNA in January of 2024. So I'd say a lot of people that left between January and December of 2024 left because of Scott D'Amore being booted. I want to say that was around that year span was around the time Deonna Purrazzo left, Giselle Shaw left, Josh Alexander left. Like these were all people that D'Amore really pushed. And then from January 2025 to now, you can kind of blame the WWE partnership. But that first year, I think a lot of it was people that were supporters of D'Amore, and D'Amore was gone. You know, I think that's part of why the Machine Guns left. You know, because Sabin and Shelley were loyal to D'Amore. And I know Nick still has his theory, you know, that right after that 90 days expires, AEW is going to be in Michigan. Like the expiration is a Friday, like the following Wednesday, Dynamite is going to be in Michigan. And what better place to have the Machine Guns debut than in Michigan?
Mm-hmm.
So Nick, go ahead and bring it home. What do you think about the D'Amore and Heyman 1-2 combination?
I think they'd be like oil and water. I don't see them working that well together, which would be unfortunate because they're both great at what they do. But I don't see them. I don't see them working together. I think. I don't know. Like I honestly I don't. The Billy Corgan thing is a stretch. I don't think he would own. Like I don't think he would want to own it because he's got whatever he's got going on with NWA. So I don't think he would own it. Who else would be out there? I don't know. Like it almost at that point, it would almost have to be WWE or TKO to own it. I think for me, the real, and I liked what Ash said about the like what's going on in the back. And I asked myself that same question because you know what? How do you let a guy like Tommy Dreamer, who bleeded TNA, was always such an advocate for TNA? How do you like what went into that decision, right? And then I think the cherry on top of it that really makes you scratch your head is the Sami Callihan one, right? Because you know if you hear back what Sami Callihan said on Busted Open, shout out to those guys. As soon as he found out about Tommy, he was like, okay, great. I might be getting the call to be head of creative, right? Because I guess he really wanted that position, only to be blindsided and being told that he's fired. So, like, if you have homegrown talent like that, like a Sammy, and like a Tommy Dreamers, and you're parting ways with them, there has to be something bigger in play. Just has to be.
That's a fair shout.
Yeah, but other than that, right? Like, who would own it? I don't really see there being anybody.
Yeah, it's at the point where, and I know this is a conversation that happens in the spaces a bit when buying TNA comes up. So this will be retread some for myself, Nick, and Ash. Walter will probably be the only one like hearing it for the first time. But what do you really gain out of buying TNA? You know, you get a handful of talent, and it's just like, okay, you've got a TV time slot, Thursdays, whatever it is, 6 Pacific, so 9 Eastern, for 2 hours. Cool. You can put on a program for however long that deal lasts, unless that time slot becomes null and void if there's a transfer, of ownership. Don't know how that works. but you get a TV time slot, you get a handful of talent. Which of the main two companies, let's do this. Which of the main two companies would benefit most by getting that? Do you think? Because we've already discovered that 3 shows for AEW doesn't work. Because Rampage no longer is a thing. Now I know there was rumor that Tony was trying to shop around an idea for a show late last year, earlier this year. I forget exactly what it was called. But he was shopping an idea for a show. Didn't get picked up. Ratings for Dynamite and Collision are down. Yeah, Ash.
Are you referring to the rumored Shockwave?
Yes, thank you, Shockwave. So there was that rumored show that didn't get bought. Dynamite and Collision ratings are down. So a third show for AEW, despite the fact that they have the roster to put on a third show, if they would actually just split people up, if they would actually split the talent, do what Nick says, do a roster split, they'd have the talent to fill a third show. They've shown that they can't creatively handle 3 shows. If WWE bought them outright, since they already have the partnership, that would give them 5 shows, technically, on TV, because you've got Raw, you've got NXT, you've got SmackDown, you've got Evolve on Tubi, and then you'd have TNA. You would literally have a WWE televised product every day of the week, not counting the weekends. And I know the haters would come out in droves for that. 10 years ago, you could have said, oh, well, WWE by TNA, you get the video library. That's worth something. Physical media ain't shit anymore. WWE doesn't put out DVDs and Blu-rays anymore. They just stopped selling. They loaded all that shit onto the network. Now the network no longer exists. Now they're churning that shit out for free on YouTube. But could you have imagined, 2020 or something or 2021, after 5 years of him being in the company, an AJ Styles DVD Blu-ray that had TNA matches and WWE matches on it? That would have been fucking sick. R-Truth, Ron Killings, have his K-Quick era on one disc, his Ron Killings NWA TNA era on another disc, and then his return as R-Truth with the little Jimmy and the 24/7 and all that on a third disc. That would have been fucking sick. Having the library while the machine guns were there and being able to freely use that footage. Sick. Joe Hendry footage, Jordan Grace footage. But physical media doesn't do shit anymore. It doesn't sell. A guy like me would still buy it, but en masse, public doesn't buy it. We just live in a streaming society. That's why if you go to Walmart and stuff, you barely see DVDs, Blu-rays. Hell, you barely see CDs anymore. You almost see more records, more vinyl than you do CDs. How long will that last? Who knows? Because vinyl's had a couple of resurgences since I was a wee lad. But physical media just doesn't move. I think you get away from the monopoly aspect because I think there's something, and again, I don't know business. I'm probably the wrong person to talk about this. I wish we had a guy like Andrew Baydala here that could really kind of break some of this stuff down. But I think there's a law or something to where in the States, companies can't really own that many similar companies because of it becoming a monopoly. I think you get away with that though, because I believe that Anthem is Canadian based, which is why they got away with buying AAA because that's Mexico based. So it's not a within states company that they're buying anymore, like when they were Tennessee and Florida based. And the Carters owned it. Ever since Anthem took it over, when Dixie and family sold it, it's Canadian based now. So I think that's how you get away with that, regardless of if it's WWE or AEW that buys it. Nick, you look like you're itching to say something. You're actually on camera. You look like you're home, buddy.
Yeah, I'm home now. Well, I was gonna say,
And you don't look like you're in your normal spot, so I don't know if you've settled up on the couch tonight because your wife has relegated you there for you being such an asshole, especially to Ash when it comes to Winnipeg, Manitoba.
what about
But,
Winnipeg? Wait, well, hold on. Whoa. What's going on with Winnipeg? I don't know what you're talking. I love Winnipeg. Winnipeg is like great. It's just like the absolute most magical place in the world.
Okay, now you're overselling it.
It's true though. It's Winnipeg. You see moose and elk, and the only thing you can't see is an AEW pay-per-view. That's just about it. I mean, that's it. That's it. That's it. That's the only thing. That's just the one thing. That's it. Other than that, it is what it is. Like, it's great. You got the Winnipeg Jets. You got the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. The only thing that you probably won't have is Redemption, because Redemption is in Montreal, not in Winnipeg. Nobody wants to be in Winnipeg.
Yeah, but nobody wants to go to Montreal either because every time wrestling goes to Montreal, someone gets screwed.
But I mean, you'd like to get screwed though, right? Like,
it depends what way. It depends what way you're getting screwed. I don't think Bret Hart enjoyed getting screwed in Montreal.
You won't know unless you try it, right? So I mean, regardless, like, it is what it is with it. I was gonna say, no, you're right. Like, with if TNA was an American-based company, yeah, they'd have to go through hoops and hurdles, right? Because that's what right now with the Paramount deal, that's what they're kind of going through. They're going through that. They have to go through the Justice Department, and they got to make sure they're following guidelines and rules to making sure that, you know, it's not a monopoly. So they do that. I was gonna say, unfortunately, there's nobody out there that. Sorry, scratch that. There's maybe two names I could see that might want to buy TNA, but it have to be at the right price. And you guys mentioned one name is Freddie Prinze Jr. I can see him maybe, but there's also another name that we've missed out, and he's an actor turned wrestler. Would Paul Walter Hausen want to maybe? I know that he does work with MLW, but would he want to buy AEW or TNA? Maybe.
What about Jelly Roll?
He's going through a divorce. You can't have that right now. No, hey, Jelly Roll's not going through a divorce.
Yes, he is.
Is it Jelly Roll? Jelly Roll's going through.
Yeah, you're right. It was Jelly Roll.
It is Jelly Roll.
He filed. Guys, what if a certain Vinnie Mac swoops in and buys TNA and gets back into the wrestling business?
I didn't want to bring his name into it, but yeah, I mean, it's a fair shout. I mean, what if Shane O'Mac buys it?
I was just about to say that Shane was. Yeah, I was about to mention Shane.
Does The Rock buy it?
It's another fair shout.
Ooh, that yeah.
Like maybe not TKO, but maybe The Rock and A24, right? Because that is his production company. And I mean, they have this new partnership with OVW. Maybe.
Well, that hasn't been etched in stone yet. But the question, when it comes to Dwayne, the $1 million question becomes, does The Rock have time? Running a wrestling promotion takes time and energy. He is on movie sets a lot. Now, yes, he would have to hire people to do creative and stuff, but does he have the time to invest into, let's say, that first inaugural year?
His daughter does.
Yeah, that no one wants to. I love Simone Johnson more than most people do. Okay? I give her way more credit than most people do. She does not have the brain to run TNA.
Yeah.
Dwayne's ex, Danny Garcia, possibly. But Simone Johnson, the former Ava Rain, no. People would be like, this is just another Dixie Carter situation. And that's the last thing they need.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know who really can buy it then at that point. Like it'd have to be fucking WWE. Because I don't think I can't see Tony wanting to buy that. I think he'd buy something like PWG before he bought TNA. Right? Like I don't see him wanting to pony up the money for TNA.
Well, let's look at this. What is AEW recently launched? What do we keep hearing about? More and more independent wrestling promotions joining
yeah.
AEW. So again, you go back to the video library, and physical media doesn't mean shit. But if you could go to my AEW and see all the classic TNA footage, especially when guys like Kenny Omega, Christian Cage, Generation Me, Young Bucks, Frankie Kazarian, Christopher Daniels. You know, there's a lot of people that have come through AEW that have come through TNA. Speedball Bailey, Kevin Knight, Josh Alexander. Deonna Purrazzo. Jeff Jarrett, to Charles's point.
He'd be somebody. Yeah. There
You know, there's a lot of people. Kaz.
I wouldn't mind seeing Jeff Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett's a good show. Wouldn't mind seeing Jeff Jarrett own TNA again.
Well, no, I'm talking about those people came through that, them having access to that footage. Some of Steen's best stuff, Joker Steen. TNA, baby. Charles is throwing out names of people that have come through AEW that were connected to TNA. He's not naming people to buy it. Billy Gunn, Voodoo Kin Mafia.
Ooh, good show. That's a good show.
You know, LAX, Santana, Ortiz. Santana's obviously not there anymore, but Ortiz still is. Foley just signed. And it would almost be a petty move by TK, right? Because they're right now partnered with WWE. If he comes in with the highest bid, that would almost be a petty move.
But if the rumors of the partnership are true and WWE has right of first refusal because of that, I don't think it would ever go through.
Possibly, but if WWE has no desire to buy it, why would they deny anybody the opportunity to pick it up?
These are the questions that we have.
And that's why I went ahead and let Noah get his pieces out and just dismiss him, because I knew him being here for this whole back and forth.
Yeah. But I know, like you said, I know that Charles was throwing out names that have passed through TNA, but I wouldn't mind seeing Jeff Jarrett owning TNA again. That'd be pretty cool. I think that
What
would be
would
pretty
be
cool.
the benefits of Jeff Jarrett owning it, though?
If Jeff
And-
Jarrett
and since he's still technically contracted to AEW, would it be a conflict of interest? Or would he have to wait for his contract to expire with AEW to then purchase the company?
I would say if he bought the partnership and dissolved whatever partnership they had with WWE, I don't think Tony would mind. I don't know.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that with Jarrett being contracted by AEW, if he bought a separate wrestling company, wouldn't that be a conflict of interest between TNA now and AEW? Forget the WWE part for a second. You have a contracted AEW wrestler buying another promotion. Like
Ash?
It would be like if somebody that was employed by Pepsi bought Coke. Or since we're talking a little bit further down the ladder here, because it's TNA, somebody who is employed by Pepsi buying Shasta or buying Faygo, buying a smaller soda company. Like, I feel like that would be a conflict of interest. Because now you know the recipes of the other company. You know the financial strategies of the other company. You know the marketing strategies of the other company.
I believe it is a conflict of interest.
We'll put it in terms you could understand here, Nick, because you're Canadian. It would be like if the Maple Leafs got a hold of the Winnipeg Jets playbook. And now you know all the Jets plays for hockey. It's a conflict of interest, right? Now you're about to go play the Jets, but you know all their plays because you've got their playbook.
Let's fuck the Jets.
But I thought you liked Winnipeg.
I love Winnipeg. Winnipeg is the greatest magical place on earth.
Trust me, half of America says fuck the Jets too, but it's a different team.
Yeah, it's the New York Jets. Only person I ever know that ever supported the New York Jets was Kevin Arnold on the Wonder Years. Because he always had a New York Jets jacket.
At least he supported a Jets franchise. AEW doesn't seem to support the Winnipeg area, so I mean, it is what it is.
Omega, you are an EVP. Use your EV powers to bring them to your hometown. Like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Right? Come on.
Yeah, I don't know. He wants to bring them to Montreal.
I don't think that was Omega's call. That was probably TK's.
You know, complete side note since Omega was brought up, I saw a clip online today of him from like '09. And I was like, dude, I forgot that I saw that Kenny Omega in like PWG and shit. Like looking at what he looked like and everything back then, is like, dude, I totally saw that guy. Like, he definitely wasn't the best bout machine or the cleaner or anything. He was some dorky curly hair motherfucker, but like seeing the footage, I'm like, dude, I totally remember seeing this Kenny Omega.
It's crazy how
I'll never forget seeing the fucking Bucks, but that's a whole other story. Anyways.
Oh goodness. Listen, seeing Kenny live was a treat.
It was. Because he wasn't even Kenny fucking Omega at that point. He was still like young boy status.
Now we're getting Omega versus ZSJ. It's like
freaking dope. Let's go.
Ashley's gonna need to watch that match with the towel under her.
We're gonna need a whole lot more than a towel. Let's be real here.
Heyo.
I love how she didn't say that I was wrong. She confirmed and added to it.
Would be bad, right? Like,
but anyways,
I mean that's goes to call back to your joke about there being a cleanup crew in Winnipeg, Nick.
So, anyways, that pretty much wraps up the topics.
Oh man, it's sad what they become.
What's that?
It's sad what TNA has become, and I just hope it gets better for them, because I really do. Because even though I don't watch the product, I still want them to be around, because the more options for the wrestlers, the better.
Yeah, no doubt. And again, TNA, much like every company, has had its highs and its lows. Like, it's had its peaks and its great times, and it's had its down times. I mean, it just seems to be going through a downtime right now. But if they can survive this, if they can pull themselves up, re-signing Tasha Steeles, re-signing Trey Miguel, signing the Bunny, these are all good things for them. And I 100% co-sign with the tweet that AJ Francis put out the other day. He was like, let me see y'all reporting the fact that they re-signed Tasha Steeles with as much vigor as you report about all the people that have left the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I responded to him, and I was like, one more time with your full chest so the people in the back can hear you. Because everyone wants to tout the decline and the failures, but no one wants to praise the successes.
Mm-hmm.
I will never lull TNA. I don't believe that shit. Because I don't hear those same people lull AEW when they were on their decline. Again, let's keep the energy around.
Mm-hmm.
If there's one thing people can say about me, it's that I'm consistent. I praise the same things across the board, and I criticize the same things across the board. I'm very fair. That being said, as we get to the start of the hour here, I'm going to run the trailer one more time. And people in the chat, if you've got questions, topics, super chats, this is your opportunity to get them in. Otherwise, we'll begin the shills when we come out of the trailer and get out of here. So we will be right back after this.
And now for a taste of things to come.
You're muted. Botch.
All the professional wrestling. I had a feeling you were going to go to me too.
All right. So then I'm not seeing any questions in the chat. Let me know if anything pops in there as I start to run through our shills and everything. Walter.
You can find me at Rage of Wrestling. Please subscribe. I'm getting closer to the Hot Wings Challenge there. Please subscribe to that. On Instagram, it's walter.cruz.940. On the X, it's at Walter Alex Cruz. Blue Sky, you can find me at Walter Alex Cruz, but I don't even know when's the last time I even logged into Blue Sky, but yeah, follow me there.
Ash.
You can find me on X, the app formerly known as Twitter, at ShadowBadAsh, and subscribe to my YouTube channel at Batty for Wrestling. Don't be a dickhead.
That's right. He was here for a couple hours earlier, but Noah Foster. Find him on X and YouTube at nfoster1916. Nixer.
You can, damn. You can find me on Twitter at, what's my at? NickBelieve12. Oh, I gotta change that. Check us out. We got a lot of great stuff coming up. A lot of
And
great
go ahead and
interviews.
plug your wife's Instagram while you're at it.
I don't remember my wife's Instagram. You don't need it. You don't need it. You're good. I don't remember it.
And that's why you're on the couch.
Hey, listen. I'd rather be on the couch than not hosting an AEW pay-per-view, okay? You
Weird
quiet
flex,
over
but
there.
okay.
What?
I said weird flex, but okay.
You need to go, Ash, you need to go into the back and listen to all of my my Winnipeg talk. It's great.
Oh yeah, all the GCW watch-alongs.
You'll see them all. See them all.
Oh, Jesus. Or, you can just clip them and put them in a nice little highlight package. That'd be pretty cool.
Might be able to work that out.
Hey.
Canadian on Canadian violence.
From the friendliest country.
Follow our resident Pink Ranger at Rangers of Wrestling on Twitch, Instagram, and YouTube, and Datilla_ on X. You can also find her most recent venture, Pop Culture Powerbomb, that is PC Powerbomb, on X. Find me, of course, on Instagram at the Renegade JJ Williams, on YouTube at Casa D18 Studios X, Casa D18 Studio, no S at the end. Find us at SR Studios 2024 on X. That is where all of the big announcements can be found and made. Let me see. Not sure who that is, but enjoy your big weekends. Thank you so much. That's right, Charles. Believe and chase you.
Does Russo have that kind of money?
JD.
Hold on. I'm not done chilling or anything. Calm down. You're on the couch. Make sure you go back in the archives and check out our interview with Big Body Javi, now going by Core Kid Javi, former NXT superstar. Awesome interview there. This coming Thursday, make sure you guys tune in, as we will have the Pro Wrestling Symphony Tag Team Champions, Royal Prestige, Tavon Jordan and Majestic. And then it was announced last week, coming in July, once the 90 days is over, the artist formerly known as Joe Gacy, now known as Joe Sawyer, will be joining us for an interview as well. And there is even more being cooked up in the kitchen that needs to be announced. I have one interview. I'm just waiting to get confirmation on time. That'll be a Wednesday interview, July 1st, with a former two-time TNA Knockouts Tag Team Champion who was also a baddie in AEW. So you're going to want to tune in for that one. And then I also have an interview with a friend of everybody's from the Spaces on X. He graduated from the Nightmare Factory. Featured on the poster for the Backyard Wrestling 8 show from GCW, Mr. Nasty Leroy. He's finally going to be joining us for an interview.
Woo!
Somebody we've been talking to for a minute, kind of ever since we started participating in Spaces. Nasty Leroy's been around. We've always kind of joked about needing to get him on for an interview. He's always been down. It's one of those things for no disrespect to Leroy, but the other talents that we've got before him were just more important than him. I mean, in the entire time we've been doing independent wrestling watch alongs, his Backyard show will be only the second time we've seen him on the screen. Because he was in the Clusterfuck last year, 2025, and then he will be on this show. So that's really not a whole lot of reason to make him a priority. Again, no disrespect to Leroy, but the fact that he is featured on the poster for this was part of why I went ahead and tapped him. Let's go ahead and bring it out because you're being featured on the poster. But yeah, so we got a couple of more things that we're cooking up, like I said. Will to be announced here in the next few days on social. So again, that's our Studios 2024, which you want to be following to get all of that information. And even Walter has been putting in some grunt work and trying to get an interview set up, talking to somebody specifically, and as soon as that gets ironed out and set in stone, that will be moved over on the Walter Alex Cruz account will be where that will be breaking. SRS will retweet it, but because it's all his legwork putting it together, he's the one that's going to get to break that news. So, make sure you're following us. Be on the lookout for that. I do really quickly, because I know Nick looked like he wanted to say something. I do really want to put this out there. That the word on the street in Nashville is that the Simply Reliable Studios will be sponsoring a match up for this show July 11th from Pro Wrestling Symphony. And I got to say, I love the poster and how it looks like a GameCube game.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that is so good. I saw that poster and I was like, dude, that is epic. Because even though I was kind of leaving video games by then, I immediately knew that was a GameCube game cover.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. You looked like you wanted to ask something.
Well, I was gonna say even the writing, definitely a take on Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw it too, and I was like, ooh, fucking Rory and Connor over there, fucking and Pat making moves.
Hell
Jeez.
yeah. All of them follow me now on IG. I follow all of them now on IG. So, let's fucking go.
Nice. Love it. Love it. Love it. Hopefully we can get some other things. I saw a really, really interesting tweet today that I tagged the crew in. So
yes, I saw that and sent a DM, and we'll see what happens from there. But if there's nothing else from the panelists, there's nothing else from the chat room, we'll go ahead and sign off for the evening. Thank you guys for joining us. Thank you to the 73 of y'all watching.
Nice.
Biggest numbers I think we've ever gotten for a Shenanigans, but then again, I've tried to put tweets out like we do during the watch-alongs and at the start of each topic, what we're getting ready to talk about, some hashtags. So that may be why we went up a little bit more than normal. But thank you to the 73 of y'all watching us.
Nice.
I do really quickly, and got to make sure I find the right thing here. Go to this URL ticking along the bottom here. That is where you can find Simply Reliable Studios merchandise. Link is also in the descriptions on YouTube, on the Rage of Wrestling channel, the N Foster 1916 channel, and the Casa D18 Studios channel. Go to the description, you'll find that URL, click it. It'll take you to the store where you can buy merchandise. We've got the regular Simply Reliable Studios logo shirt. We've got the Christmas logo. We've got the Walter Cruz I Speak typo shirt, which is completely misspelled, as it should be. But go there, make sure you buy a t-shirt. You can buy a sticker. You can buy a coffee mug for some of these. We got men's and women's shirts up on the site. So you want to get a shirt for yourself, Ash, or if you want to get a shirt for the Mrs. Nick, or Walter for the Mrs. I know we've sold an I Speak typo shirt.
Nice.
That was the first one to sell. But make sure we get that out there, get that little plug in. Again, thank you to all y'all joining us and tuning in. And until next time, we'll catch you around here on the Shenanigans.